Hello,
Hi, how old are you?
35.
All right, cool. And are trans women women?
No.
Why not?
Do you know the difference between a skin gland and a prostate gland? Can you explain to me that? Or should I explain it to you?
No, you can explain it if you want, but I'm assuming it's a sex-related
Skin
thing.
gland. Skin glands are two glands located at the lower end of the urethra in women and people assigned female at birth. Your
Okay, so
urethra is a
sex.
two. Your urethra,
I
it's
know what a
assigned
urethra
for.
is.
Can you let me finish, or you want to interrupt me?
Well, I know what you're describing something sex-related.
But you asked me to describe what a skin gland is, and you're not letting me finish.
Yeah, you just said it was related to sex. So why do we
But
need
you're
to
not
keep
letting me
hearing it?
finish. I'm still
Yeah, because you said it's
continuing.
related to sex.
But I'm still continuing reading it, something
Sure, go ahead.
from
We can waste the waste waste
freelandclinic.org.
the waste the 5 minutes, then we'll continue
No,
going.
but you're gaslighting right now, and
Not gaslighting.
you're being disingenuous right now.
Not being
So you're gonna let me
disingenuous.
finish, or are you just trolling
I
right
just said go ahead and finish.
now? Okay, so urethra is like a tube-like organ. If you don't know what a urethra is,
I
that
already
removes
said I
the
do.
pee from your body. Spleen glands aren't a well-known organ, but they play a role in your sexual and urinary health.
Great.
So they develop the same cells that become the prostate in men, but
Cool.
you don't have the same type of cells that reproduce prostate cancer. So tell me when they assign a person at birth, male or female, they decide whether they have a skin gland or a prostate gland. So
Yeah.
you're telling me that you like males that are assigned at birth that have a prostate gland, correct?
What did I write up here?
So correct.
What did
You
I write?
like
What did I
males
write at
assigned
the
at birth
top?
that have prostate
What
glands.
did I write at the top?
I asked you a question.
What did I write at the top of the
But
live?
I asked you a question.
What did I write at the top of the live?
I asked you a question.
I'm asking if you know what I wrote at
So
the top of
does
the live.
everyone have skin glands? Does everyone have skin glands?
I don't care if they do or don't. It's not relevant
But
to my argument.
I'm asking you a question. This is a topic. I'm asking you a question. Does everyone have skin
You're
glands?
asking something unrelated to the topic.
No, it has everything related to the topic
No, it
because
doesn't.
only females assigned at birth have skin glands.
Did I write female there? Did I write
They're
female?
not women though because
Did I write
they're
female?
how are they women?
Did
How are
I
they women?
write
Do they
female?
have the essence of women and femininity?
What's the
No.
essence of woman?
Look it up.
You tell me.
Look it up because apparently you don't know and you like carbon copies of it.
I mean, you seem to know, so tell me. What's the essence of
Because
woman?
I live it every day. I live it every day.
I live it every day is not an answer.
Actually, I live and breathe being a female every day.
I didn't say
Not
female,
even,
did
not
I?
because of the fact
Did
that
I
I
say
have
female?
masculine energy,
Did I
but
say
the fact
female?
that everything in my body is feminine.
Did I say female?
So you're admitting that you like male assigned at birth with prostates that decide to be trans women, right?
I like women.
That's what you like. That's what you like. Males assigned at birth that
Yeah,
become
I
trans
like women.
quotation women
I like women, yeah.
with prostate glands.
I like women.
You
Yeah.
like women with prostate glands, right?
I like women. I
That's
like
what
all
you
types
like.
of
Women
women.
with prostate glands.
Yeah, I like all
that were
types of
assigned
women.
male as birth that have prostate glands.
I
Correct?
like all types of women.
Correct.
Yeah.
That's all I wanted to say. That you like males assigned at birth with prostate glands.
The homophobia is crazy.
No, there's no homophobia here.
Yes,
I'm
there
just
is.
stating facts.
Everybody sees it.
Stating facts. What is a trans woman? A woman that has a prostate gland because
Trans woman
they
is
were
a
assigned
woman.
male at birth. Assigned male at birth. With
Great.
prostate gland.
I don't care what their sex
Great,
is.
great. At least we came to the same conclusion.
I
Have a
don't
great
really
day.
care. Okay, bye.
Have a
bye.
great day.
You're transphobic and homophobic is crazy. Pick a struggle, bro. To be transphobic and homophobic is wild. Of course she ran. She wasn't. People like that aren't interested in actually having a conversation. That's why, like, the first thing she said is, "Oh, you're gaslighting me." I don't think she knows what gaslighting means. First of all, people like that aren't interested in having a conversation. They're interested in steamrolling a conversation so they can make you look, I guess, gay. Whoop-de-doo. Good for her. Did she think she did anything? No. No. Oh, she's back in the chat. I wonder if she's gonna have what she's gonna say this time.
Hey, there's really nothing to have more of a conversation when all you do is interrupt. So you as a host, you don't know how to carry on an actual channel. So thank you for admitting that you really don't know how to rebuttal when it comes down to actual
I did
physical
rebuttal.
features of body and organs.
I
So
did
thank you very
rebuttal.
much.
I did rebuttal.
Thank you very much.
I did
And
give you a
don't
rebuttal. Do you
and
want me to
just
give it to you
remember
again?
that I'm sitting on your father's face
Do
right
you want me
now.
to give you? I don't give a shit. Do you want
No,
me to
no, no.
give you the rebuttal again?
Let's entertain this because it's 11:30 right here. Entertain me.
Yeah, sure.
Fucking take.
Sex and gender are two different things. So I don't care what somebody's physical sex is. It has nothing to do with whether or not they are women. Women is a gender term. You brought up the fact
Okay,
that
so
you
you
have to
want
have
me
the
to say
essence of. I'm
that
not done. You brought up the
I'm
fact that you have
not
to
done.
have the. Great. You brought up the fact that you have to have the essence of womanhood, but then couldn't tell me what that was.
I also said prostate gland versus skin gland. That's a physical
Great.
organ.
That has to do with sex, not
Correct.
gender.
But that determines whether they not are assigned female or male at birth. And then they decide to
Again,
go through the
female and
process of
male is
transgendering. Yeah, no.
female and
That
male
doesn't
is
work
sex
that way.
terms, not gender terms. Those are sex, specifically our genotypic sex. That would be whether we're
Yeah, but
female or male.
that's how you have a functional reproductive
Yes, your
system. Is
reproductive
you
system
determine
determines whether
whether or
you're
not
female
male or
or
female
male.
at birth. So you're stating that anybody can identify themselves as such?
Anyone can identify as specific genders, yes, because gender is an identity-based concept.
But it only happens to genders, nothing else, right? Just genders, right?
Gender
They can
is
identify if they were
inherently an
born
innate sense of
one way,
self,
they can
yes.
identify something else, but only just genders, right?
Well, as anything that's an innate sense of self.
Okay. That's hilarious. So
That's
you're
hilarious
born
isn't a response.
male at birth. You decide to transition to a woman, but gender is only allowed to do that. So people that literally were born white at birth can't identify themselves as black.
No,
It's not the
race is
same
not
shit,
race
right?
is not an innate sense
It's not
of
the same
self.
shit. Right.
Correct. Yes, race is not an innate sense of self. It's not that. That's not what race is. Race is a legal construct.
What about ethnicity?
Ethnicity would be a cultural construct.
So somebody that was born in a different culture can't adapt into another one and transition to another ethnicity? Right.
No,
That's
because
not okay. Being a
ethnicity
gender is
directly.
totally okay to transition.
Yeah,
Totally okay.
ethnicity directly dictates like where you're from. Now they can have a nationality. Their
You
nationality can be different.
say that you were born white and then be grown up in another place that is a different ethnicity, and then
Race,
you can inherit that value.
white
in
is
the
not an
cultures.
ethnicity. Right,
So
white is a race.
I'm not saying white. I'm just saying, like, let's say Mexican. Let's say Romanian. You were born as a
did
different
say white, though.
ethnicity. We're living in a different area. You pick up that culture, and then you become what? Trans Romanian, trans Russian, because you're not from that same ethnicity. So you can develop and pick up those traits, right? And that's
Do you actually want an answer?
as a gender, you have to. They're women. They're women. They're not women
Do you
because
actually
they
want an
don't
answer?
have a prostate gland.
Do you
That's
actually
how
want-
you determine your sexual health,
Do you
and
actually
that's how
want an
you
answer?
get doctors to figure out if you're a healthy person.
Do you actually want an answer, or no? Because it seems like you just want to perform, which is fine. But if you want an actual answer,
keep deflecting the.
I haven't deflected.
Fact,
I haven't deflected
prostate
one
and skin
thing.
gland. That's how you determine female and male.
I haven't deflected
Whether you want to
one
identify
thing.
yourself as a fucking rock or a fucking cockroach, I don't give a shit.
Rocks
But
would
what it
be
is
biologically,
that's
an
what you
inanimate
are. And when
object.
you go to the doctors, that's what you do.
Rocks
You
would
go
be
and
an
get
inanimate
proper
object.
sexual health according to your sexual, your sexuality.
Actually,
like you're male
trans.
or female.
Actually, trans people
Whatever you
that
identify
are
yourself is whatever you want to identify. However people want to accept you is their prerogative.
Great. So
So
trans
if you
people
want
who
to
have okay, you want to keep
trans
talking.
woman,
Yeah,
other
you wanna
people are
keep
not going to
talking?
accept it.
Do you want to keep talking, or do I get a chance to talk?
I'll keep talking. I love talking.
I can tell. I'm just wondering when you said you wanted to have a conversation. It seems like you don't.
Tell me something that's actually factual rather than opinion.
Yeah, I can read you right out of a neurobiology textbook if you like. Would you like me to read you out of a
neurobiology textbook?
Would you like me to read you out of a neurobiology textbook? Yes or no?
I already said so. How many times
Okay,
do
cool.
you not clean your fucking ears? Do you
I
really
did.
need
I
to go
didn't
get some
hear you.
Q-tips?
Is that
I
a
think you
problem?
need to get some fucking Q-tips.
Is that a problem that I didn't hear you? My apologies.
Yeah, it actually is a problem. It really helps with your being a host and responding well.
Oh, okay. Well, then maybe if you didn't have background noise, there wouldn't be an issue. So apologies
currently
that you
in the
had
middle of
that
not
that
leaving
I
my house.
apologies that I heard a car revving and so I couldn't hear the words you said. But I'll go ahead and read.
because
I'll
I
go ahead and
actually-
read
I
out of a.
outside of my home.
Okay,
not
so then
sitting
you
on my home, I'm
recognize
really
that it has
weird.
nothing to do with me being a host and you having background noise. If you want it, like, okay,
Sorry that
right.
you're so sensitive. You
So,
have background noise. I can hear
well,
you
I don't.
fine. Just finish what you're saying.
Well, yes, because I'm sitting in a house. Okay. Anyway, going forward. So when we look at sex, sex is considered in terms of three categories: genotypic sex, phenotypic sex, and gender. Genotypic sex refers specifically to an individual's two sex chromosomes. Most people have either two X chromosomes, genotypic female, or an X and Y chromosome, genotypic male. Phenotypic sex refers to an individual's sex as determined by their internal and external genitalia, expression of secondary sex characteristics, and behavior, and if everything proceeds according to plan during development. And then gender refers broadly to an individual's subjective perception of their sex and their sexual orientation, and is therefore harder to define than genotypic or phenotypic sex. Generally speaking, gender identity entails self-appraisal according to the traits most often associated with one sex or the other, and these can be influenced to some degree by cultural norms. For purposes of understanding neurobiology of sex, it is helpful to think of genotypic sex as largely immutable, phenotypic sex as modifiable, and gender as a more complex construct that is determined culturally as well as biologically. That's from Neuroscience, second edition.
Still states no difference between a male and a female having a prostate and a skin
Correct.
gland.
I didn't
Please
say
tell
there was
me
any
where,
difference. I didn't
where it
wait.
states that
That's not my argument.
a born male has a skin gland, and
That was never my argument.
Adult female.
That was never my argument.
Adult female is a woman.
That was never my argument. My argument was that gender
my
and
argument,
sex
though.
are different. And guess what this
Yeah, and what I'm
guess what this
saying is
also
that
shows
you
us
wanna be
is
identified
that
as a
gender
gender.
and sex is different.
You want to redefine?
Yep.
You
I'm
wanna
gonna
redefine
talk
the
now. I'm gonna
definition
talk
of a
now.
woman, and
My
a woman is an
argument
adult.
my argument is
And
that
it's
gender
based on
and sex
sex.
are different. That's my argument.
Well, my argument is an adult female or adult woman is a female, and a female.
Great. Give me some evidence of that.
Gender.
Give me some
expression.
evidence.
I did.
No, you didn't.
How many times do you have to go in circles?
You didn't. Give me evidence that women and female are synonymous. Give me evidence of that.
The definition.
Definitions are descriptive, not prescriptive.
One
Definitions are descriptive, not prescriptive. Try again.
It's so sad that you guys literally try to.
Definitions are descriptive, not prescriptive. Try again. That's not an answer.
On expression.
I just read you out of a scientific textbook. You wanted to read me out of Merriam-Webster. So one of us is actually looking at science, the other isn't. One of us is actually looking at science, the other isn't.
Oh, I am. You don't know what the fuck I'm looking at.
So give me some scientific proof. Go ahead. Give me anything. I gave you a specific book. I gave you the name of the book. You want the DOI? You want the number? You want the reference number of the book? Here, I'll give you the reference number of the book too. Right? This one's by Purves D, Augustine G, J, Fitzpatrick D, et al. Those are the editors of the book. So do you have evidence? Do you have evidence?
No,
I'm just wondering if you have evidence.
You're very aggressive.
Do you have evidence?
I'm sorry
do
that
you have
you
evidence?
want to
do you have
deny
evidence?
the fact that you're,
do you have evidence?
You're homosexual.
Do
you're
you
homosexual.
have evidence?
Just admit it.
Do you have evidence? I'm just waiting for the evidence.
Clearly, you're showing that you're homosexual.
Do you have evidence?
You like men.
Do you have evidence?
You like men who have prostate
Yes, I know you are also homophobic as well as transphobic. Do you have evidence?
No, we're just stating the fact that you like.
Do you have evidence? I'm asking if you have evidence.
You clearly admitted it.
I'm asking if you have any evidence. I know you're triggered. I'm asking if you have evidence.
Why don't you talk to the doctors?
I have talked to doctors.
You can deny all you want, but
I have talked to doctors. I just read you out of a neurobiology book. So I've read science. I've read science. You haven't.
Sexual health by their doctor and go and get checked up. What do? Do they go and get a prostate, or do they go and get a?
Well, multiple trans women have to go to OBGYN. Multiple trans women actually have to go to OBGYNs. And multiple trans men have to go to urologists.
You just don't want to move forward with that. You just really don't.
Yeah, because again, my argument is that gender and sex is different. Do you have an answer? I'm just wondering if you have evidence.
You get a prostate check.
Do you have evidence?
One of the two.
Do you have evidence?
Go get yourself checked.
You're describing sex. I don't know how many times I have to keep saying that. You keep describing sex.
The fact of between male
Show me evidence. Show me evidence that all women have to be females. That's what I'm waiting for. Anything.
Go to the doctors and ask them for a proper
That's not
check
evidence. Go to the doctors is not evidence.
Organs.
Again, trans women oftentimes have to go to OBGYNs and trans men oftentimes have to go to urologists. So try again. I'd love to see some. We're not moving forward until I get evidence.
Female.
I'm not moving forward until you provide some sort of evidence.
They determine male and female. I'm sorry to say, but you.
I'm not moving. First of all, that's not how they determine. First of all, that's not how they determine That's not how they
It doesn't
determine who is
state
men and
shit.
female, because that's
We can go on
phenotypic
for
sex.
hours, bro. I get paid for this. It doesn't state shit.
So
You can
do
go on to the
I.
next person
I
because
also
we're
get paid
not
for
going
this.
anywhere.
So
We're
do
not going
I.
anywhere.
I'm just wondering when you're going
Okay.
to provide
All right.
evidence.
I have already provided
You
evidence.
haven't.
I really don't know what more you want to
You have
force
not
me out of
provided
because
any
no,
sort
I
of
already provided
evidence.
it. Do you want to
You
continue
have
or do you want to
provided
move on
no
to the next? Because
evidence.
I've already provided
You
skin
have
gland and
provided
prostate.
no
Maybe we should
evidence. That's
actually
not evidence.
research upon that.
That's
No, it is.
not
It's actual.
evidence to
You
tell
have
us
a
that
prostate
that's
and I
not
have a
evidence.
skin
That
gland.
is
There's
not
a difference between
evidence.
men
That
and
is
women that are
not
very
evident. This
deep.
is crazy. That's not evidence that tells us that females are women. That's not what that says. All you're providing is that females have a specific part of their body and males have a specific part of their body. I've never denied this. Anybody with half a brain recognizes that I didn't deny this. What I have claimed is that being a woman is a socially
Skin gland and
constructed thing.
prostate. You're
Oh
not
no,
going
that's
anywhere with
funny.
this.
I'm not done talking. So what I have mentioned is that women and men are
I'm
social
talking.
categories. That's great. I'm not done. Women and men are social categories, not sex-based categories. And I've asked you to provide evidence that they are sex-based categories. You have yet to do that. So I'm going to give you 5 seconds. 5
Sexual.
seconds.
You're
I'm going to give you 5 seconds to answer that question, or I'm going to move on because I don't need to
homosexual.
waste my day on somebody that's here to
Stick in
perform.
your
So you have 5 seconds now. Go ahead.
touching the prostate. That's what you like.
5,
That's what you like.
4, 3. Great. So again, as we have seen, instead of coming up and providing any evidence for any claims, all she did was come up and be homophobic. Whereas I guess being gay is an insult to me. Like if I was gay, that's an insult, and that's okay. Whoop-de-doo. Now me, chat, I did provide evidence that gender and sex are separate things. Although being interlinked and having relation to each other, they are separate. Sex is phenotypic and genotypic. Gender is your subjective perception of your sex. She apparently doesn't understand that. I don't know how to make it easier for her. Maybe I have to take this neurobiology textbook and put it into a picture book, and maybe she would figure it out. Yellow.
Hello.
Hi, what's your name, age, and where you're from?
Anissa, I'm 21, and I'm from Virginia.
Okay, Anissa, is God all good?
I think so.
Okay, is he all powerful?
I think so.
Is he all knowing?
I believe so, yes.
Okay, does God want babies to have cancer?
I don't think so. I don't think that that's God's doing at all.
Okay, whose doing would it be?
I think if you believe in God, you have to believe in Satan too.
Okay, who created Satan?
So I think Satan creates the bad things that happen in our life, and I think that God tries to have good things, put good things in our life,
Okay.
so that Satan is kind of booted out. But I think Satan brings the bad things into our life. I really do.
Okay, so babies getting cancer would be Satan's fault.
I think so, yeah.
Okay, who created Satan?
Well, I know that he was kicked out of heaven. I know that the Lord kicked him out of heaven. He once was an angel in heaven.
Who created the angels?
God. So
Okay.
God did create Satan.
And
But
and
Satan
God
turned
and like you,
bad.
yeah, God's all knowing though, right?
Right.
So he knew
right,
Satan
and
was going to
he-
turn bad when he created him. Before he created him, he knew Satan would turn bad.
No, I don't think so. I think that Satan.
So this was
he
something
turned
God
on
did not know?
God. No.
Okay.
You make your own choices yourself. I don't think God does not control human choices, obviously, because if that was the case, then the world would be perfect, and the world is not perfect.
So God is
so I
not
don't
all
believe
knowing.
that. Well, I guess not. I guess he is not all knowing. You're right. He
Okay.
is not all knowing on that part, but he is all powerful and he is good, I do believe. But you're
So
right. He is not
I
all
can agree with
knowing.
you. I think if God is not all knowing, then God could be all good. The all powerful one will have to, we'll see. Do you think you've said that God doesn't want babies to get cancer? Could God create a universe in which everything is the same except babies can't get cancer?
Yes.
Why didn't he?
Well, like I said, we make our own choices and we should be following what the Bible says and his word in the Bible, but we don't. We make our own choices and we disown him and we don't follow him.
Okay. I'm sure you would agree that there are genetic cancers, right? Cancers that aren't brought about from doing anything. It's just a mutation in our genes. So,
Yes,
so
my
how?
partner has cancer. He was
Okay.
just recently diagnosed with cancer.
I'm sorry to hear that. With the
Thanks.
understanding that some cancer is genetic and there's physically nothing you can do to cause it, okay, that would remove that aspect of like free will, right? It wouldn't matter about the free will because this cancer is going to come whether you're living a healthy lifestyle or not, whether you're free from sin or not. So my question remains: why wouldn't God create, if He doesn't want babies to get this cancer, why not just create a universe in which they can't?
Right. That makes sense when you say that, but also like there's things put on this earth that God does not do and there's things that go on all the time like COVID. I mean, that's something that humans probably created because God didn't put COVID on this earth to kill people. Obviously, he didn't do that. So, COVID's just like this brand new thing that just popped up just like that.
Well, just
Things
FYI,
just come up.
the
It's
novel
not a choice that
coronavirus.
people make to have them.
Yeah,
And
I
I
just
don't think that God makes that choice for us either. It just is a thing that's on the earth and
so in this,
it happens, but that's not something we affect.
remind you, right? This idea that twofold. A, novel coronaviruses are not new; they've existed for centuries. It's just this one was a new strain. B, God absolutely has sent disease. That's what the plagues were. He did send plagues
Hmm.
and diseases. So that is something God is has not only done but could do again if he felt like it, right?
Well, I don't think that he sends any of the diseases. I really don't. I think that those are just things that are on our planet. He has nothing to do really with what goes on. I mean, he sees everything, and I'm sure he's very disappointed in everything that he sees because this world has gone to crap. I mean, it really has. And I mean, like wildfires going. I mean, where I'm from, we just recently had a wildfire, and it was humanly caused. Like somebody, started it, and it is just crazy. Like things like that, and it could have destroyed us. It could have
So
destroyed
really,
houses and everything.
so really
We
quickly,
do those things.
you believe God is all seeing, but he is not all powerful. He's not able to interfere. He's not all knowing. He doesn't know what can happen. He just sees it as it's happening, and he's all good.
Right. I just really came on here because my partner has cancer and like
Uh huh.
we are putting our faith into God right now and like to hear some of these things that like are being said like people believing that God isn't good and like even my partner, like he asked me, he was like why did God choose me? And I was like, like I really don't know how to answer that because like I honestly don't believe that it's God's doing. I don't think that God chose you. And like we've been hearing about like a bunch of younger people getting cancer recently, especially like where I'm from, like younger partners of people, getting cancer. And it's surprising. I think that it's maybe like Satan's doing, like trying to wipe out future generations and trying to wipe out like what brings a family together, a man, right? And I feel like that's what's happening right now. Like Satan just, is interfering. And I fully believe that we should just have faith in God. That's really just why I came on here because, like, I know some people don't always believe in God, I know that, not everybody believes in God, but I believe that, you have to have some form of, like hope. You have to have that, and you have to hold on to that, and you have to have faith,
Yeah,
because
and
if
it's a
you don't, like, what do we have?
a few things I want to point out here. One, you said that you wanted to have faith in God. I would hope that when it comes to your partner's cancer, you're going to put your faith in the doctors, right? And that the doctors know what they're doing, and that the like whatever treatment they need will work, and the cancer will go into remission. Secondly,
Right.
I based on what you have said now, you believe in a God that is all good and all seeing, but not a God that is all powerful and all knowing. I am okay with a God like that existing. However, that would not be the Christian God. The Christian God, it is made very expressly clear that he is all good, all knowing, and all powerful. Now, if you're saying that
Right.
he's not those things, he's not all powerful, he's not all knowing, he's not all powerful, he's not all knowing, he's just all seeing and all good. Fine, but
Yeah, I don't
that
feel
means
like he knows like our
praying and
decisions.
sure, but that just means praying and having
Yeah,
faith in a God like that is akin to doing nothing, because the God can't affect what's going on. So praying to him doesn't accomplish anything. He is a conscientious observer. He can't affect anything. So why would we pray to a God like that?
physically he can't do anything. Yes, physically he cannot come on this earth, like, right now, until he returns. Of course, that's like a different story, but the thing is that, like, he isn't in a physical presence like the other guy was saying that came on here. He's in a spiritual presence, and I think that he does bring things spiritually into our lives to help us out, and I've seen it firsthand too. Like, I have prayed before and it has worked, and I've never done that before. Like, I didn't ever pray for anything, and nothing ever really went on. Like, everything was wrong. And then once I got saved and everything, and I started praying, and I turned to God, and I put my faith in God, and I accepted him into my heart, my like things in my life changed, like, for the better, and I became a happier person, like, overall. And I just think that it really changed my life.
Uh, wait.
So, do you believe in God?
No,
Do you believe in God?
no, not in the slightest.
You don't?
What's concerning me, or I won't say concerning,
That
but
explains it.
what's interesting in this scenario is God can't do anything to change anything about your physical situation, but you still pray to him
Yeah.
for some sort of spiritual guidance. Is that what you're saying?
Right. Yes. Yes, of
What's the point?
course. Like, God is not in a physical presence, obviously. It's a spiritual type of thing. And when you pray, I feel like he does listen in a spiritual form, and I have even heard him talk to me. I really have. Like, people tell me that all the time, that they've heard, his voice, and I really have myself. I mean, I almost died one time, and I had like a whole out of body experience. Like, you can look it up and everything. You ever seen Insidious? That's a true story. That's like really true. Like, people actually do have experiences like that, especially like when they're near death and stuff. Like, I've had experiences like that, and I have came close to God, and I literally almost died, and that changed my life. And that's why I believe in God so much, is because, like, I've actually seen things. I've been there, and it's a spiritual thing. He's not physically here until he actually really does return physically, but like I said, that's a whole nother story. But he is in a spiritual form, yes, and he
So
does do things spiritually in his
something I
life.
just want to point out here. When we die, our brain releases like a metric ton of chemicals that causes us to see and hear things. That's just kind of how our bodies work. Second of all,
Mm-hmm.
as you said, the God you believe in would not be the Christian God, because you're going against the
Right.
things that the Christian God specifically says is his whole shtick, and you're directly contradicting what the Christian God says. So I think that's fine. I think it's fine to say that, like, I believe in a God that just created everything and then fucked off, and that God doesn't do anything. It just watches.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That would just mean you believe in something different than you say you believe in. So I would just look inward to see if there would not be a religion that more closely matches that, because that's not Christianity.
Okay. You're tough to crack. um, well, like, you have your beliefs, and other people
Well,
have
hold on.
their
These aren't
beliefs,
my
and like
beliefs. These are the Bible's beliefs. The Bible claims that God is all good, all knowing, all powerful, all seeing. The Bible claims that, not me.
right.
But
I
you
I
don't think the
believe that
Bible is
too.
all. Well, no, you don't. You've admitted here that you don't think that God is all powerful. You don't think that God is all knowing. You only think He's all seeing and all good.
No, I do think that he is knowing and everything, but I don't think he knows our decisions. I
Then
don't
He's
think he
not.
knows our decisions
If
and
he
things
if
that
he
we're gonna
doesn't know
do.
our decisions, He cannot be all knowing because He does not know all.
Right, I get that, but like he's in a spiritual form. He's not in a physical form. He can't like stop us physically from doing anything, like
Then He's not
he
all powerful.
obviously wants us to follow his well, he obviously wants us to follow his word and stuff, but we don't do that, and that's a whole nother thing to get into, but we don't follow his word and we make our own decisions, and I
Yeah,
don't think that
if
he
God
can.
cannot interfere, like He can't because something is stopping Him, then He's not all powerful. If He just won't interfere, then He's not all good.
I think he does sometimes in people's lives, like when he sees people going down the wrong path. But like like not always does things turn around for everybody. Like I see people going down the wrong path, and then like they end up dead or in jail or something. And then sometimes I think that people find God. Like you hear about people getting sober and everything, they find God, and it brings them to light, and they end up getting sober and they turn their whole lives around. But like,
Why didn't
that
God do
doesn't
that with why
happen for
didn't
everybody.
yeah, why didn't God reveal Himself to Hitler so that Hitler would stop killing a bunch of Jewish people?
That's crazy because like you even know more than I do. I mean, like I can say that I work weekends, so like I'm a mom, so like I work weekends. I don't even really go to church anymore. I used to go to church when I was younger, and I still pray and everything. I don't think you need to go to church to be a Christian. I really don't. I think that you can have an outside of church relationship with the Lord, but like I don't always go to church and everything, so I don't really know a lot. And do I have time to read the Bible all the time? No, I don't. I mean, do I sometimes? Yes. But like you even know more about this stuff, but you don't believe in him, but you know more than I do about God, and I believe in him. It
Well,
doesn't make any sense.
does it? Oh, I just really quickly, and then I'm gonna let you go because I want to move on to other people. Does it not scare
Okay.
you that somebody that's done more of the research on it doesn't believe it? Doesn't that say something about the thing itself? If a person who has studied it a bit more no longer believes in it?
I mean, so wait a second. So did you used to believe in it?
I
Did
used to
you
be
used to believe in the
agnostic. I used to be an
Bible and everything?
agnostic, right? I used to be agnostic on God, but I've never at any point really believed that a God exists. But I used to be
Oh.
as gnostic, agnostic, where I was like, okay, there might be. I don't know for sure. I don't believe. I'm not agnostic anymore.
Yeah.
I'm fully. I'm a full atheist.
Oh. Well, shoot, that sucks. Cause like I don't know, man. I literally I swear to God to you, I seriously died, and I went to heaven. Like I said, I had an out of body experience, but that's a whole nother thing to get into. But like I said, I mean, I've been to heaven. I had a whole out of body experience. I almost died. I was in the hospital. They were trying to save me, and I wasn't awake at the time. I was like in my own little world, but I was in heaven, and I seen the gates and everything. It was wild. I can't explain it, but I've seen things, and I have beliefs and everything because I've seen things. Like before I was kind of skeptic about it myself, and I was like that too. And but like when I had those experiences, I was like, wait a second, like this is real. Like the things that the Bible says and the things that, people say in church and everything is true. Like the gates opening when you go to heaven and everything, like that happened for me. And it was just crazy. It was a wild experience. And like, not a lot of people believe experiences like that. It's really hard to talk about, especially knowing a lot of people are watching. But it was crazy, and like that brought me to believing in the Lord and believing that that type of stuff is real, and why God, allowed me to come up into heaven and being a non-believer, like that to me, it was just insane. Like, how did that happen? Because I didn't really believe before. I was kind of skeptic about it. I was like, yeah, I don't really know, is there a God? Is there really, but once I had that experience, I've fully believed in the Lord and heaven and everything.
Okay, well, we just have differing opinions on this. I don't. Uh, the only time I've ever seen God was in a bedroom, but that's neither here nor there. And I said thanks for stopping by. I'm gonna let somebody else come in. So thanks for coming in and chatting.
You're welcome. Take care.
All right, how old are you? Hello.
Hold on. Okay. So
Wait, how old are
you
you?
said that people don't want to
How
smoke,
old
bro.
are you?
29.
Great.
Don't ask me my pronouns.
What are your pronouns?
Well, you're not getting them because it's obvious. So,
No, it's not. I don't know who you are.
well, I don't know if you just be in your delusion if you want. Well, let's talk about the topic
All right, why don't you support trans kids?
because they don't exist.
Trans kids don't exist.
No, they don't exist.
Do trans adults exist?
Trans adults exist, yes,
Were
because
those
they
adults
have
kids at one point?
surgery, and yeah, they were with kids
Oh,
at
okay.
once. Being
Right. So trans kids
transgender
exist.
is all around surgery and diagnosis of the brain.
There's no
That's
diagnosis for transgender.
yeah, because you got to get different puberty blockers and then feminization of the face. You got to get all
Transgender
these
doesn't have a
stuff.
diagnosis. There's
But
no
yes, it
there's no
is.
medical
Everything
diagnosis for transgender. That doesn't exist.
you have to get all this before you can get all your puberty blockers and stuff. So let's stop beating it. Okay.
I can't hear you with your Walmart phone. You're gonna have to speak into the mic a little bit more clearly.
Want my phone, buddy? You're funny.
I don't know why else your phone would be making those noises.
You're hilarious. So why you think what we should support, kids like that?
Well,
No.
well, first of all, just to correct some of the things you said that just like aren't true. There is no medical diagnosis for being trans. That doesn't exist. Trans would be like a gender identity. You don't have medical diagnoses for identity. You can have
Yeah,
medical
yeah.
diagnoses for gender dysphoria, but gender dysphoria isn't a trans specific thing. It happens to cisgender people as
Give
well.
me the definition of the gender dysphoria. Give me the definition right.
Sure, I'll give you the definition of gender dysphoria directly from the American Psychiatric Association.
Okay.
The term transgender refers to a person whose sex assigned at birth, i.e., the sex assigned at birth, usually based on internal genitalia, does not align with their gender identity. Some people who are transgender will experience gender dysphoria, which is first is psychological distress that results from an incongruence between one's sex assigned at birth and one's gender identity. Though gender dysphoria often begins in childhood,
Hmm.
some people may not experience it until after puberty or much later.
Right.
So did you hear the
Because
part where they said some people who are
on
trans,
to the
not
next thing
all
about
people who are trans? Did you hear that part?
let's go on to the next thing about
Not
it.
until you
So
not until you admit that you were wrong about that.
you get a trend
Not moving on until you admit that you were wrong about that.
and then you get a gay man.
Not moving on
What
until you admit you were wrong about that.
what gets them different, huh?
I'm not moving on until you admit you were wrong. People that can't admit they were wrong on something are people that are unwilling to like have decent conversations. So if you can admit that you were wrong about that, I'm glad to move on to the next part
You're
of the
saying
conversation.
I'm wrong, but I'm not wrong, sir.
Your claim was
So,
transgender as a diagnosis, and that all trans people have gender dysphoria. Per the American Psychiatric Association, the people that write the
I mean,
diagnoses, they state that only some people who are transgender have gender
you're not
dysphoria.
incongruent
So
with
either
yourself.
so either admit you're wrong about that, or I'm not going to
Not
continue with the
incongruent
conversation.
with yourself. You yourself, right now, do you believe that you are just a man?
I'm not continuing the conversation until you admit you were wrong.
Do you believe that you are a man or not?
Not continuing the conversation until you admit you were wrong.
You believe that you are a man or not, sir?
Not continuing the conversation until you admit you were wrong.
That you are a man or not?
I'm quite literally not continuing the
I
conversation
just
until you
said
admit
to
you were wrong.
you that I'm not going to admit that I'm not wrong. It is your opinion
Oh,
that you.
okay. Okay, so then
I
you're unable to have
are
an
saying
honest
that
conversation.
you say that I am
Yeah,
wrong.
you're unable to have an honest conversation.
You're,
If you're unable to admit that you're wrong about something,
you're
you're
saying
unable to be honest. So why would I talk to somebody who's not honest?
I am being honest.
No, you're not.
You're telling us your opinion.
This isn't an opinion. This is the people that write the diagnosis that you told me
You
to
are
look up.
telling me your opinion
This
of
isn't
me
an
being
opinion.
wrong.
This isn't an opinion.
That's what I'm saying to
You are
you.
objectively wrong.
I'm not objectively wrong.
You are objectively wrong. Yes.
If I am objectively wrong, again, that is your opinion.
No, opinions aren't objective. They're subjective. You are objectively wrong. You
No,
said
you're being
something that
wrong
is
about it.
false. You said something as a fact that's not a fact. Now, if you
No,
can't
it's
admit you're wrong, if you're
not
incapable of doing that, then you are incapable of having an intellectually honest conversation.
capable of saying when I'm wrong.
So admit you're wrong here. Your claim was
I'm
all trans people have gender dysphoria. The people that write the diagnosis, the people that came up with gender dysphoria, which was the American Psychiatric Association, they came up with that diagnosis, state
most
only
lesbian.
some people who have gender dysphoria, or some people who are trans have gender dysphoria. Only some. So not all. So you were wrong when you made that claim. So either admit that you were wrong,
These
or we're just
different
not going to continue the conversation.
definitions for your appeasement.
I'm sorry?
You realize that they're making all of that for you guys'
You
appeasement.
said to look up gender dysphoria. You said that.
Yeah,
I didn't bring it up. You said when I
Damn
said
right.
not all trans people, not all trans or trans isn't a diagnosis. You said, well, look up gender dysphoria, and then I did, which proved you wrong, and you're still incapable of just going, oh my bad, I was wrong.
What the hell is gender identity then?
Gender identity is different from gender dysphoria.
Don't you
We're
got
not-
to get a
we're not going to
diagnosis of?
continue. You are not going to continue this conversation until you admit you were wrong.
No.
Then we're not going to have the conversation, my guy. I don't have
Yeah,
conversation with people that are incapable of being intellectually honest. You are incapable of being intellectually honest. You're incapable of that.
If you don't want to move on from it, then that's fine.
Yeah, yes, no, I have said that I am not going to move on. I have already said this because
Yeah,
you
you're
are
already-
incapable of being intellectually honest.
Or having a full conversation because you want to stop on one statement.
Yes,
because
when somebody is wrong about something and cannot
on
admit
going.
they. Let me explain something to you. When someone is wrong about something but won't admit they are wrong, that's going to tell me how the
Who
entire
said they're wrong?
conversation is going to go. That tells me
Who's
how
the
the
one-
whole conversation is going to go.
Who's the one to tell me that's wrong?
The American Psychiatric Association, the people that create the diagnosis that you told me to look up.
Ain't wrong.
The people that
They don't
created,
tell me.
the people that yes, they do.
Just because
Yes, they
people
do.
tell you something doesn't mean that it's 100% true.
The
Is
people
that
that
correct?
created the diagnosis get to determine how that diagnosis is
Is it
diagnosed. Are you joking right now?
does it mean it's 100% true?
Yes.
No, it's not.
Yes, it does.
No, it doesn't.
If
So
they
you get,
create the diagnosis, if they
let me give you
create
this.
the diagnosis and say only some, like there are only some people that have this, not all people, then yes, they get to decide whether or not this is true because it's their diagnosis that they created and they gave the criteria for. Yes, absolutely, 100%.
Okay, gimme pig. So you just like to believe.
What is a
everything
gimme
is-
pig?
Gimme pig? You don't know what a gimme pig is? Come
Never
on
heard
now.
of a, never heard of a
See,
gimme pig before in my life.
A gimme pig?
A
You never
gimme-
heard of a gimme
A
pig?
gimme pig does not exist.
Gimme pig. A gimme pig. You never heard of that definition before?
Gimme pigs are not a thing.
Gimme pigs. What I'm meaning is science lab test rats. That is you.
How is this a lab test?
You are a test rat.
How is gender
How-
dysphoria as
how
a diagnosis
not?
or lab test?
Because again, who are the ones to tell that is true?
The people that created
Because
the
everything a
diagnosis.
fucking scientist tell you, you gonna believe a scientist?
The people that created the diagnosis get to determine how it's diagnosed.
This whole COVID incident. So you believe this all extra
Not moving
bullshit?
on with the conversation until you admit you were wrong.
Did you?
I refuse to move on in the conversation until you admit you were wrong.
Nah, you just admitting to me that you know that y'all know nothing, bro.
Uh-huh.
Y'all just be in ignorance and
Uh-huh.
bliss.
You made a
Uh-huh.
claim that literally
I
one
did make
Google
a
search
claim,
proved wrong.
and I could back my claim.
No, you couldn't.
Yeah, I could.
Go ahead. Back the claim that all trans people have gender dysphoria. Back it with something. Go ahead.
Again, gender identity. Boom.
You don't know what gender identity is.
Yeah, I do.
What is it?
Okay. You can identify as gay. You can
Gay is not a
identify.
gender.
Yeah, yes, it is.
Are you
Because it's
stupid?
definitely not a sex.
Were you? It's
Is
a
gay not a
sexual. It's a
is gay a
sexuality,
sex?
dummy. It's
Gay
a
is a sex?
sexuality.
No,
You
no, 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 no. It's
absolute.
a
You
gender.
absolute idiot. It's a sexuality, not a gender.
A
Were
lesbian,
you born dumb, or did you just become dumb later in life?
a
Which one? Which
trans
one is it?
woman.
I just need to
That's
know
all,
if you were
my brother.
born dumb, if you were
That's
born
all
dumb or
gender
became
identity.
dumb later in life.
Gender identity, my brother. Get your facts
They're not a
right,
gender
brother.
identity, stupid.
Get your
They're not a
facts
gender
right.
identity. They're not a
Get your
gender
facts
identity.
right. Gender identity
It's
is
not a
a
gender
congruent
identity.
with gay, lesbian,
It's
straight.
not.
Anything
not.
you identify, that
It's
is
not.
what it is.
Yep, you are wrong. You are just
Yeah,
continuing to
I'm
be
wrong.
wrong. Yes, you are.
So you believe in that you're a
Yes.
pony, I bet.
I believe that I'm what?
A pony.
Pony's not a gender identity either, stupid.
You might as well put it with all these stupid ass definitions coming out
I didn't
talking
give a
about.
definition, dummy. You have been. And you've been
Hey,
saying wrong
hey,
things. You
I'm addressing
specifically
all y'all
said,
motherfuckers.
you
It's not
specifically, as just honestly,
all
what I
y'all.
think might be one of the dumbest things I've heard in a while, said that being gay, which is a sexuality and tells you about who you're sexually attracted to, is a
I did.
gender. Are you
I didn't.
So what we've learned is you've drank away every brain cell that exists in your brain, I'm assuming. You want to tell me more about how gay is a gender identity? Yeah,
Gender identity,
sure
yeah.
it is. Anyway, moving on with my day. Faith, thanks for the gifted sub. I think we do. Hello, what's your age?
26.
Okay, why don't you support trans kids?
So I wouldn't say that I, blanket don't support trans kids. Okay. In both their social and medical transition. So, I mean, when it comes to social transition, I think that there's a version of that I'm okay with. But I would say, like, for example, if a kid in a public school respectfully, and you may not think this is possible, but respectfully and intentionally misgenders another kid, that kid should not get punished for that.
Where are they getting punished for that?
No, I'm not. The question isn't why don't I like how trans kids are being supported. It's why don't I support trans kids being supported in their social and medical transitions, right? So I'm addressing the question and not like making a commentary on how things are right now.
Well, wait, you just said that specifically. You said that you don't think a kid should be punished for misgendering another kid. But I'm asking, where is this happening that they are being punished for misgendering other kids?
Yeah, exactly. So you're asking me to back up a claim that I didn't make, right?
What do you mean? I'm just asking if it's a thing that's happening.
Oh, you're asking if it's a thing that's happening, or you're asking where
Yes.
it's happening?
Is it a thing that's happening?
Not that I know of,
Okay.
but I don't know that it's not happening either. I haven't looked into whether that's happening or not. I'm just clarifying my position. What's your position on that?
That is not happening.
Okay. What's your position on it as a, do you think that should happen? Do you think that kids should be punished for intentionally misgendering in a respectful way?
Intentionally misgendering? Yes.
That's what I said, right? I said
You
I
can't
don't know.
intentionally misgender it in a respectful way. That doesn't exist.
Yeah. Okay. So you don't. So you don't think that's possible? Okay.
Yes.
So do you think that do you think that like a boy is a person that uses the sound boy to describe themselves?
Do I think a boy is someone who uses the sound boy to describe themselves? I
Yeah.
don't know what that question
Or
is
what do you
asking.
think a boy?
What
What
is
do you
that?
think a boy is?
What do I think a boy is? Anyone whose
Yeah.
gender identity lines with their social schema of young males.
What do you mean by social schema?
Social schemas are the ways that our brains categorize different members of society. So, specifically, the associations our brains make with things. In this regard, it would be the associations our brains make with males, specifically young males.
Okay, so what I'm hearing is that a boy is somebody who, um, so you're saying that everybody has like a category that, or some people have a category that they call boy, and that category is made up of associations with the male sex, right?
That would be, yes, boy would be made up of associations with the male sex, yes.
Okay,
Specifically,
and so you're
association
saying
with the
that,
young male sex.
right? Okay, and so you're saying that somebody who, when they are categorizing themselves, they put themselves in that category. That's a boy, right?
If their gender identity aligns with that category. For instance, I make
Is that
associate.
different than
I
what I said?
have no. That's that. Yes, that's different than what you said. For instance, I have associations in my brain with what females are, right? So my
Yep.
brain makes schemas based on what females are, but I don't associate. I don't have a gender identity that aligns with that association. So therefore, I'm not a woman. But if somebody has a gender identity that aligns with that association, they would be that thing.
To you, right? Because
To
you're the one making those
themselves.
associations, right?
The only person that can make a claim about what your identity is you. Somebody else can't make a claim on your identity.
I can't identify people.
You cannot make a claim on someone else's identity, no. You can make assumptions about what you assume their identity is, but you cannot make a claim of their identity.
So when you say their identity, there's kind of there's a bit of a language thing going on there because there's two kind of senses of that word that we're using, and we're conflating them. And the issue is that they're actually separate. So there's identity in terms of how I identify myself, and then there's identity in terms of who I am. And those don't have to be the same. If I say that I'm identical to um, the second person that my mom gave birth to, right? Which I have an older brother, so he's the first. So that means that those two things are identical. They're the same. They're just two ways
I'm sorry.
to
What do you
refer to
think?
the
What do you think
same.
identity is?
And so I'm answering that right now, actually. Right. So the thing about language is that words can have multiple meanings or multiple senses, right?
Yeah,
So
sure.
you
That's
have
why I
one
asked you what you
definition.
think it is.
Yeah, no. I'm giving you the two different senses that I think that are applicable here. And
Wait,
so
can you
one
just
sense,
provide a definition for the word?
yeah. So I'm doing that. So one sense is the identity of anything doesn't have to be a person. The identity of anything is what that thing is. All of the information combined about that thing, right? All of the true information about that thing. Okay. The other sense of the word is how a person identifies themselves. Self-identification.
Yeah, no, I would agree more with the first one, but when you said the phrase "the truth of what that is," I would disagree. I would say that that language doesn't really work in terms of an identity because an identity doesn't have like a universal truth. For instance, if I identify like if somebody is my friend and they identify that way, right? What I view as a friend may not be what you view as a friend, but that doesn't make them any less my friend.
So yeah, this is where we're combining the two meanings of the word, right? So on the one hand, you want to say that when somebody speaks certain words about themselves, that is their identity. You're you're taking the act of of having a view on oneself, and you're conflating that with the the true information about oneself.
What?
Okay. So if I mean, do you understand the word self-identification? That's a word. That's a word in the English language.
Yeah.
What do you think that word means?
Self-identification would just be to personally make aware characteristics or qualities about yourself. You're
Make aware.
identifying. You're right. It's just a word I'm using to try to explain it without using the word in the definition. But you're
Sure.
identifying specific qualities or characteristics about yourself.
You're attributing certain characteristics or qualities to yourself,
Sure.
right? And those, you can attribute any qualities or characteristics to yourself, right? You don't have to have those characteristics or qualities. They don't have to be part of your true identity.
What do you mean when you say true identity?
The true information about you.
What is true in regards to gender?
In regards to gender, so I don't think that there's an objective. I don't think that genders are objective categories. What I mean by that is, I think that I agree with you that genders are like, I have a concept of what a woman is, and that's a bunch of associations that I make with the female sex. I agree with you on that. And so if I were to attribute the characteristic of those associations, right? Whether it's, you could, having feminine attributes, whatever, like whatever those associations are, if I attribute those to myself, if I say I have those, I match that category, then that would mean that I identify as a woman, right? But that wouldn't it doesn't make sense to say that makes me in any objective sense a woman. It doesn't make me objectively a woman. There's no such thing as, in this way of thinking about things, there's no such thing as like having an objective sense of what a woman is.
I would agree.
Right. So then you cannot say that because I identify myself that way, that I am objectively that thing. Right? If somebody else comes along, they have different associations, I don't match those associations, they can say I'm not a woman. And those two
No, I think they can say they're not a
two
woman. I don't think they can.
identifications
I don't think they can make a
are
claim for another person.
those two identifications are on equal footing, because both of those categories, right? Both of those sets of associations are both subjective. There's nothing objective about those. So to say that I'm at the same, to say you can't, it's a contradiction. You can't have it both ways. You can't say that at the same time there's no objective definition of what a woman is. There's no objective set of associations made with the female sex, and say that if somebody thinks that they match their own subjective category of woman, that they are objectively a woman. Doesn't make sense.
Yeah, again, I don't think you can make a claim on someone else's identity. I just feel like you're
So
not
yes,
you're
you
you're
can.
not.
You
No, I
can't
don't
make
think
a
you
claim on
can.
their self-identification, but you can make a claim on their identity.
Wait, I fully disagree.
You can't say no. Like, my name is Rafi, so someone couldn't really come up to me and say, no, Rafi, you don't think you're a man. That wouldn't make sense. But they could say, Rafi, you're not a man,
Based on what?
based on their associations with the male sex, because they have their associations and I have mine, and it's really that simple. I don't like, this is like basic. I know it is philosophy, but like, it's not that, some people are calling me a Phil bro or whatever. Like, it's not that hard. It's either an objective category or it's not. Like you can't. You're not. Yeah. So.
I don't think I agree with you here.
Why?
Yeah, when we talk about somebody having a gender identity, gender identity is something that exists like in your brain. Like we can specifically see the part of your brain that lights up when you're feeling things like gender euphoria, for example. So how can another person make a claim on what your brain is doing and how your brain is identifying itself?
So
They can make a claim based on like what they view the definition of man and woman to be, sure, but like look at the human language. The human language is not a definitive language. It's a descriptive language. English is a descriptive language.
okay, what I'm saying is um, that yeah, I agree that you can't. It doesn't make sense for someone to tell me that I don't identify as a man. I do identify as a man. So I agree with that.
Okay. So I'm confused what the
The contention is that even though someone it wouldn't make sense for someone to. I mean, in theory, I could be lying, right? I would have no reason to, but I could be lying. So they could say, "Oh, well, you say that you identify as a man, but really you don't." But no, what I'm saying is that they can identify me in the same way that I can identify myself. They can identify me, and they can identify me according to their associations with the male sex, right?
no.
Why not?
They can make assumptions, but it is not what you're they're not they can't make an objective claim about your own identity.
I never said it was objective, right? I never said it was objective. I'm saying it's based on their subjective associations with the male sex. It's not. I'm not saying somebody can tell you who you really are. I'm saying if gender is subjective, then my subjective view of myself and your subjective view of me are on equal footing. You just can't have it both ways, though.
What? Homie, I don't feel like you're being cohesive currently.
Okay, how?
Well, again, you keep making this claim that someone can claim that you are something else based on what they view that thing to be.
They can claim that. Yeah, that is, and that is. I'm not saying they're going to be objectively right or wrong. I'm saying that that would be a subjective claim. Would you agree with
Well,
that?
yeah, but what does it matter what somebody else claims you to be?
But what I'm saying is that okay, but that's like you're saying that that's someone else can do that, right? They can categorize me according to their concept of man and woman, right? They can say I have these associations with the male sex, and I have these other associations with the female sex, and looking at me and interacting with me, whatever, that they they think I match more closely with their associations with the female sex, so they would say I'm a woman, right? In their world, in their subjective concept of what a woman is, I match that more to them, right? Whereas in my world, right, I would match more the associations. Maybe if I give an example, that would help.
Okay.
All right. So let's say that I have the subjective association that that beards are, I associate that very strongly with the male sex, right? And let's say that for some reason, somebody else really strongly associates having a beard with the female sex. Okay? Because these categories are subjective, it doesn't probably a better example would be like color of clothing. So that's something that does actually like vary from culture to culture.
Okay, really quickly though, somebody did pay to boot you, so sorry. Shout out to Hunter. Hunter wanted to boot the guest. But again, real quick, and I was going to say this, but like my definition of gender involves personal schema, not my definition of like what a woman is and what a man is. It was personal schema, not societal schemas. I need water. Wow, scared? I'm not scared. Someone paid to boot him. I literally was talking to him for 20 minutes. Hello, what's your age?
I'm 18.
All right, what year were you born?
I was born 2005.
All right, what's your name?
My name PJ.
All right, PJ, what do you lose by calling trans women women?
You don't necessarily lose nothing, but it's just like it's like, why do everybody have to fall in delusion? I mean, it's like the same thing. You could tell somebody to call you something. That don't necessarily mean they have to call you that. Meaning you trying to force it for us to believe what you believe, and that the world don't work like that.
I don't think, first of all, I don't think anyone's going to force you, right? You're not being forced. You're not being like held at gunpoint to do it. I would say you don't lose anything by not doing it. What would be the point of not doing it? Like if you're not going to lose anything.
Okay. This is what I mean by force. I'm meaning like, say for instance, right? I'm big on everybody living their own life. That mean, everybody sin every single day. Whatever you do is what you're gonna be held accountable of when you die. Okay. So the thing is, when you misgender somebody, or you don't like fall into the point of, okay, I'm gonna call this person a woman, and and when you do that, they'll get angry about that. And I mean, you've seen it plenty of times of that happening. And it's just like, it's really unnecessary, to be
Well,
honest
wait,
with you.
wouldn't you be angry if like let's say for your whole life people called you a woman? When you know you're a man, wouldn't that frustrate you
No, I wouldn't care.
if it happened
Well,
all
okay,
your
it's
life?
like this. It's like this. Why would you care about something if you know for a fact? But if somebody keep telling you something that is not, clearly is not. So it's like saying this. Why would I call somebody a woman that is not a woman?
Well, what is a
That don't
woman
even
to
make
you?
sense. A woman with ovaries, XX chromosomes. That's what is a woman.
Okay, which of these things is necessary to be a woman? Ovaries or XX chromosomes? Because there are women born with XX chromosomes who don't have ovaries. So
Oh well,
which of these is the
okay. Hold
necessary thing?
on, hold on. We could go by we could just go by the
Okay.
chromosomes.
So in order to be a woman, you have to have XX chromosomes, and any
Yeah.
differentiation from that, you would no longer be
Mhm.
a woman.
Mhm.
Okay. If you have, do you know what mosaicism is?
No.
Okay, so mosaicism is a genetic thing that happens in all sexually dimorphic species. So, because we are a sexually dimorphic species, it happens in us as well, where we can have half of our body having XX chromosomes and half having XY. So, what percentage of the cells in your body need to have XX chromosomes for you to be considered a woman? If I have
Uh,
25% XY chromosomes, am I a woman or a man?
okay, hold on. Okay, I get what you're trying to say, but I mean, if you want to look at a very simple standpoint, that if you want to go by science, um, women have XX. No matter what the percentage is, it's XX. That's all.
Wait,
Men, XY.
some women have XY. Like some
Where?
cisgender women have cells in their body with XY chromosomes. That's what mosaicism is.
Well, Mosaicism.
Hmm.
I gotta
And
research that.
if you have true mosaicism, then you have a 50-50 split. Half of your cells are XX, half of your cells are XY.
You said what?
If you have what's called true mosaicism, half of your
Mm-hmm.
cells have XX chromosomes and half have XY chromosomes.
I never heard that before. I gotta kind of do research on that part.
Yeah. So what? So
Yeah.
now the bigger question here is the bigger thing here is what you're describing by chromosomes is you're describing our biological sex. You're not describing our gender. These would be two different things, right?
Oh,
What our sex
yeah,
and gender are separate.
which is true. But you said, what do you lose by calling a trans woman a woman? Which what you calling somebody a woman is you really saying that they are a biological woman. This is what you're referring to. You understand that, right?
Well,
So you're
no,
trying
because
to you're trying to
biological women
no
don't
wait.
exist.
wait, 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 hold on, wait. I was listening. I was trying to understand, but that do not make sense.
Yeah. So when we say woman, woman is a gender term. So woman specifically corresponds to our gender and our gender identity. Sex is the biological aspect. And the only categories we have for sex are male, female, and intersex. Woman and
Hmm.
man are not sex categories. They don't have anything to do with our biology. They are distinctly separate from that, especially on like a sociological, neurological, and biological level, right? That's why you typically don't even see mention of gender in books on like our sexual dimorphic biology. They typically don't even mention
Okay.
gender because it has nothing to do with it, right? So when you say chromosomes, that is specifically regarding your genotypic sexual makeup. So your genotypic sex is your chromosomal makeup. Now,
Oh,
if you want to say somebody is biologically woman, the only way that that can be is if you're just saying, well, they're a human, so they have biology and they're a woman, right? But it's not that there's any woman biology.
okay. As far as that, we should already know that everything was given a name, correct?
Everything was
As like
given a name. Sure,
as a
the human language, specifically English, is a descriptive, not prescriptive language. So yes, everything was given a name.
Okay, so of course, so everything, even a computer was given a name, even though it's like everything got has given a name and it got a purpose behind the name. So as far as being a biological woman, well, technically, if you want to go by the simple terms, 'cause I guess I know everybody gonna say about it, you be a biological female, which you was born with. Hold on, I know it was a uterus, ovaries, because I mean, if you want to be honest, we all, I mean, if you want to be honest, a trans woman shouldn't be born with a penis if it was a woman. It don't make sense. Yes, you gotta have the ability to transition. I mean, that's your choice, of course. But
I
don't
don't
say that
understand
you're a
what
real
you're.
woman.
Can you try to rephrase? I don't understand what you're trying to
Okay,
put
so
across.
basically, so what you were saying was. So you were saying that well, what I was saying is that everything was given a name. So
Sure.
by these standards, that you could still see from a clear view what a woman is and what a man is. They go you I mean you could see it by birth what a female and a male is based off their
Well,
sex change.
wait. I agree with you that we can see some phenotypic representation of what females and males are, because typically females
Mm-hmm.
express themselves with female reproductive systems and genitals, and males express themselves with male reproductive systems and genitals.
Mm-hmm.
However, and gender identity are corresponded to our brain. You physically can't see gender identity. You can see parts
Exactly.
of the brain that light up when you have like gender euphoria, and you can see
Mm-hmm.
parts of the brain that light up when you have gender dysphoria, but you cannot see a gender identity. That's not something visible to you. So to say that we know their gender by some phenotypic expression would I don't feel like would hold up. We can
Uh,
typically guess their sex because as like you said and like I said, those things are typically expressed through some sort of phenotypical body part.
oh yes, okay. So I mean, what you trying to say? Even though identity is different, your sex is still considered is intertwined with your gender. So meaning
Wait, yes, sex and gender are connected.
exactly.
Absolutely. Absolutely, but they aren't the same thing. But they are 100% connected. That's
Okay.
why when it comes to being cis, like I'm a cis man and I believe you are a cis man, right? Our sex and gender align with each
So
other. Like
what
they're
is this? What is a cis man?
cis means
I
that
thought we just heterosexual man. We just straight.
no,
That's it.
heterosexual means what we're attracted to. Cisgender means that your gender identity and your sexual your sex are in alignment. They work together, they're aligned, they're the same thing. Transgender means that your gender identity and your sex are in disalignment. So they don't align with each other. So where me and you, our gender and sex do this, their genders and sex do this, right?
Hmm.
It's just if you're not trans, you're cis. They're just the opposite sides of the coin.
Okay, I don't know why. I don't know why it was to that point that we had to make extra words for that.
Cis isn't a
That's
new
kind of
word. The word cis has existed for thousands of years. It's just if you're not if you're not a neuroscientist or a sociologist or a biologist, previously you had no reason to use the word. But now that trans people are becoming more prevalent in society and we are becoming more
Mhm.
accepting of them, we do need a term to differentiate trans women from cis women, right? They are both women because both of their gender identities align with the female sex, but they're two different types of women. Just like we need a word to differentiate tall women from short women, or we need a word to differentiate blonde women from brunette women. These are just descriptive words. They're adjectives.
But I mean, as far, but that's like belittling women, biological women. I don't know why we can't. I don't know why we keep going based off this, man. It's like it's not that hard to understand that, like women were, well, not women, because they're gonna keep. I know somebody gonna tell me about it. Females and males were born with different reproductive systems, with our
Correct.
reproductive organs, right? And that's what we were assigned. So okay, that's like I said, we when we
Well,
grew up.
I wouldn't say our sex is assigned to us, right? Our sex is a biological thing. Like whether it's our genotypic or phenotypic sex, that's biological. Our gender, though, has traditionally been assigned to us based off of our sex because it's just how the world has done it for so long. But what's the problem with expanding our understanding on these topics? For instance, we're bridging this gap that has existed for a long time between people whose gender identity didn't match their sex and people whose did. And now that science and sociology has finally caught up to this and we're expanding these categories, I don't think it costs cis women anything. They still have all of their spaces. They still have everything that makes them a woman. They haven't lost anything by adding another group of people to the category.
Of course, I mean, of course, you're not losing nothing from the category, but obviously, you could put it like this: if this was so, if this was so, how you put it? Mm, because in this case, in that case, this would have been taught in school. I mean, that's why it's getting pushed now because it wasn't something that was paid attention to, because
Well,
everybody should know back then that it was either a male or a female. It was
so
that
so
simple.
two
as far
two
as
I
far
have
as a transitioning person, that you're
uh-huh.
transitioning into a different gender. So I mean, well, you're trying to transition your sex, because that's when you transition, you're trying to
Mhm.
transition into a different sex that you believe. Well, if we want to go to gender dysphoria, they did say, if you look at the study, gender dysphoria is a mental illness. So
Wait, okay,
that's
so hold on. There's a few things
based
you
off your
said there
own
that I want to
perception.
Yeah, there's a few things you said there that I want to dive into. So first of all,
Mm-hmm.
you mentioned it being taught in schools. Well, I would just argue the reason we haven't taught it in schools is you typically don't learn sociology in high school. Like you really don't start learning
Uh-huh.
sociology until college. Like the sociology, like the type of class that's going to teach these things, you're not really learning that until college, right? Um,
Mm-hmm.
high school will teach you basic level biology, but the thing is, we're only teaching you the basics. And at basic level, right, it's that male and
Mm-hmm.
female, boy and girl, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's like elementary school so that kids can understand whatever. But that understanding evolves, right? There's a reason why we don't teach kids advanced level algebra, but we teach them 2 plus 2 equals 4, so they now have the building blocks to add on to that knowledge as they grow up, which I would argue is
Mm-hmm.
the same thing that we do. We teach them like there's male and female, there's boy and girl, and then they'll have the
Mm-hmm.
building blocks when they're ready to learn the more advanced stuff, such as gender identity, how gender identity is affected by neurology, how gray and white matter in the brain affect your gender identity, how all of these things
Mm-hmm.
come together. Right? Those are just too advanced to be taught at a primary school level. The other thing you said is you did describe gender dysphoria as a mental illness. I would disagree with that classification because the American Psychiatric Association, the people that came up with the diagnosis, they don't specify gender dysphoria as a mental illness. They did put it in the DSM-5 so that they could better get treatment for people with gender dysphoria. But I would say I mean, if you want to call it like a mental disorder, I mean, I think that's fair. I understand people's wanting the use of the word mental illness, but I think mental illness has a weird connotation that doesn't really fit with what gender dysphoria is. And then the last thing that you had mentioned was about transitioning. I just want to let you know transitioning doesn't mean you're turning from one gender to the other. It just means you're transitioning the like you're transitioning by adjusting the phenotypic expression of your gender, right? So you can have somebody who is trans who never undergoes medical transitioning, for example, right?
But
They would still be trans.
that would kind of take the whole point of being trans. I mean, if you really
Well, no,
want to look
because
at
trans doesn't mean transition. It's not shorthand for transition. It's shorthand for transgender. And transgender just means that you have a gender that does not align with your sex. That's all it means. So it's just not what the word
no,
trans means.
I didn't say transgender. I said a trans woman, which is transitioning
No, it just
to a
means you are a
different
woman who is transgender.
trans. Hold on. What is trans? A trans woman is a woman who was assigned a male at birth. Trans women have a female gender identity and may experience gender dysphoria. Gender dysphoria is distress caused by the difference between a person's gender identity and their sex assigned at birth. Some transgender people don't identify with one gender exclusively. Some transgender people identify as neither male or female, or a combination of male and female. For example, a transgender man is a person who is assigned the female sex at birth but identify as a man. They got
Yeah,
more, but I ain't trying to do all that. But I mean, it's just,
that's
I
yeah, but
mean,
that's essentially what I just said. There's somebody whose gender does not align with the sex that their
but that
sex.
no, but no, that's the way they think. That's not a fact.
Well, gender
Just because
identity
it's like, okay,
is
for
in your
example,
brain. Gender identity is in your brain.
exactly,
It-
exactly,
but wait, that still
exactly.
makes it a factual thing because as I said before, we can
No, no,
see when
it's not a fact. It's a feeling. Just because okay, just for example,
how I
if I
feel
feel
is
some
a
way that I'm,
fact, right? If I go see a movie and the movie made me feel
hold on,
good, it is a factual thing that movie made me that I felt good while watching that movie. That is a factual
okay,
thing.
so okay, I'm gonna make sure. No, okay, okay, so if I feel like something, does that make me something?
Yes, there are a lot of instances where we do this, right? For instance, if I feel nice, it might make me nice. Or here's an even better one. Let's take the word friend. The word friend has an objective meaning to it. But what I feel a friend is and what you feel a friend is could be two completely different things. So somebody that you feel is your friend, I may not feel like that criteria, would make them my friend, but that doesn't mean that they're not your friend, right? I can't make that claim for you that they are your friend or not. Only you can decide that, and it's an internal feeling.
Okay, I know you're gonna say that. Upon occasion, every now and then, some people get a feeling it isn't real. They may think that that's real. It may feel very real, and they may truly believe it's real. But it's just a feeling. It is crucial to remember that. As important in emotions are feelings, feelings aren't facts.
Wait, I think you're misunderstanding what I'm saying.
I know I get what you're saying, but I'm still trying to say just because I feel some type of way, that don't always mean that that's the right way. Just because I feel like something, like okay, say for instance, just because I feel like a girl doesn't make me a girl.
No, what would make you a girl is a gender identity that aligns with your schema on
No,
the female
that don't
sex.
make me that don't make me that either. That's just me trying to identify as something that
But
I'm
wait,
not.
girl, woman, boy, man, these are identities. That's what they are. So yes, your feelings are what's important here, right? because they are identities. If they were, this is why I say you can't, it's different than sex, right? Sex is a biological thing. Sex is something that happens to your body, but gender is an identity. You have to
I know that.
identify as it. And identities are strictly feeling based. All identities are strictly feeling based.
I know that.
So then I don't
I'm not
understand what
I'm
you.
not I'm not I'm not I'm not knocking that I don't know that. I'm well acquainted with that.
So then when you made the claim that it's not fact because it's our feeling, that doesn't make sense. When what we're talking
Me,
about is
okay,
something that's feeling
okay, hold
based.
on. I don't think you get. I don't think you get what I'm saying. Okay, so you said for the title, you said, "What do you lose by calling a trans woman a woman?" Right? And then I said, not what I first said, but I'm saying just because I feel like I'm calling somebody that doesn't make them that.
Okay, so then how would you define woman?
Let me look it up. Let me say it better, cause I couldn't, cause you said you said some women don't have ovaries. I mean, sometimes, of course, you have problems while I'm gonna put it like this: every woman and every man don't always have a complete 100% type of makeup when they are born. Sometimes they have genetic problems and stuff like that as well. But if we want to go as what is a woman, well, we're gonna say what is a female because they was born at birth as a female. I'm gonna just say what does females have and a male doesn't have. What does female
Well,
organ?
wait. So are you, again, are you saying that women can only be female?
No.
Okay, so that I'm not worried
Well,
about what a female
okay,
is.
okay. Just think about evolution, right? Female, then woman. Like female, then teens, then woman. So that's as an evolution. Is though they're still the same thing. Is that is like a grown up a version of it. Meaning a woman is somebody that's plus 18. Female is somebody that's under 18. It's not like really different. It's just that they're grown now. That's just the only difference. That's literally the only
No.
difference.
No, females would just be your sex. Woman and girl would be your gender. Woman and girl would be the thing relative to age, not your sex.
What what is what the yeah. Let's see what it is the man. The 46 has two chromosomes in the ovaries of the woman, but has external genitalia that appears to be male. This type is usually caused by excessive exposure of the female fetus to make hormones in the womb. That basic science you don't have to do like this is really basic. I mean the basic stuff you don't have to not not know what a man and a woman is without just looking at their genetic makeup. It's
But
really not that hard. I don't think you'll need Albert Einstein to figure that out based off the stuff we was taught. I mean, that we was taught in high school, just based off what a male reproductive system have. You know,
Here.
a
yeah,
woman,
what's up?
a female
Hey, yo,
reproductive.
why somebody with a profile with no picture on it, no nothing? Send me a. Oh, I didn't know you were live. My bad. Cause I just looked and I didn't see you live. Did you just recently restart?
No, I've been live for
Oh,
hour and a half.
said you made Jovan the house bitch or
Oh,
something.
they came into my Twitch to say that too, and we just banned them.
Oh, okay. For what the fuck was that about?
I don't fucking know. Somebody butthurt, I guess. We banned them.
Yeah, that shit was so mad weird.
But yeah, PJ, I still think you just don't have a comprehensive understanding of what man and women are.
Did you do that video yet?
Oh, not yet. I fell asleep. I'll do it before I go to bed tonight.
Alright.
So yeah.
I know the difference between what you're saying as far as gender, but the gender was also connected with the sex
Yes,
that
but
you
you
were
keep
born.
trying
Well,
to.
hold on. Yeah, but the sex you was born with. That's why they got a thing called a man and a woman. It was connected due to the sex that you were born with.
The problem is you keep trying to equate these things, right? You keep
But that's
trying
the
to.
truth.
No, but when I say equate, I mean you keep trying to make them the same thing when they're not. They are just two things that have a linking in our brain.
What? Wait,
Yes.
that don't. Okay, hold on. Wait, that don't even make sense. That
I've already
okay, hold
explained
on.
it.
Wait, I looked it up for you so I could just
Well,
go by
but
based off the
before you do that,
definition.
somebody did pay to boot you, so I'm going to move on. So shout out to Jennifer for the Cash App. How old are you?
29.
All right. What do you lose by calling trans women women?
We lose the truth and clarity on what the word woman even means.
Okay, I disagree. So we'll start with truth. How can there be an objective truth to a social category and a social construction?
Historically, it's not been a social construction. It's always been about sex.
Does gender exist outside of humans?
I mean, it's all like I have never until the past like year heard the word woman be used to define a trans woman. Like this is all
Okay,
brand new to society. Absolutely.
understand. That's
I
not the
don't know
question I'm
when.
asking, though. I'm asking if gender as a thing exists outside of the human race. Do dogs have a concept of gender? Do lions have a concept of gender? Do ants have a concept of gender? Do any of these other species have gendered concepts?
Yeah, just by looking down like at their private parts to see what they are.
Wait, what do you think gender is?
I believe it is what private part you have.
So you think that gender is your private parts? So if I'm, for instance, if
I
I'm
know
a,
that
if
you're
I'm
gonna say
a, well,
it's a social construct. You're saying it's a
yes,
social construct.
yes, because you wouldn't have a concept of gender if you were living in a society outside of that concept.
So what is that concept based off of?
It's based off of the behavioral, psychological, and phenotypical aspects of the sexes.
What does that even mean?
I don't know how to say that more clearer than I just did.
Right, because it doesn't really, it's not clear and
Wait, it's
concise.
very clear. It's very clear. The sexes tend to behave
Yeah,
certain
it's
ways.
very clear what
They
the
tend to
sex
have. They
is.
tend to have different form. Like when they with their brain psychology, they tend to be different in their psychology, and they're phenotypically different. So we take all of those things into an amalgamation of what a gender might be, and those things do change and warp over time with age. That's why there are different gender categories for young humans than there are for old humans, because young people tend to act differently than old people. Animals don't have a concept of psychology. They don't have a concept of behavior. They don't have a concept of phenotypes. So they would not have a concept of gender. They don't even technically have a concept of sex. They are
Yeah, I
just
know, they're
born
not confused.
mammals specifically are born sexually dimorphic. So they don't even have a concept of sex. Right? If
Yeah, that's how we should.
I were to take you and put you alone on an island, do you think you'd ever understand what a man is?
Yeah, because I would be able to look down like at my private parts and see what I am.
Wait, so if I plucked a 21-year-old man, he was born on an island, he lived on the island alone for his entire life, and I put him into a lab and asked him, "What's a man?" He could tell me.
I mean, if he speaks the language and has been taught the like,
How would he
I
have been
mean,
taught the language?
exactly. So I mean,
So he wouldn't have a
it's an
concept of
impossible.
man.
Like, of course, he wouldn't understand what the word man means.
What do you think the word man means?
Someone who has a penis.
Okay, so quick question. There's a thing called vaginal agenesis. Women who have vaginal agenesis can be born without vaginas. They just don't have any. They don't have a vagina, they don't have a reproductive system. What would you call them?
They either have the like either one or the other is like active, like either they're able to produce one way or another.
They don't have a reproductive system. They can't reproduce at all.
Well, then I guess it would come down to what is it, chromosomes or whatever. Like I'm not well
Okay,
versed.
so just to confirm, you stated that the necessary condition to be a woman or a man was to have the genitals for those things. Now the genitals don't matter. It's actually the chromosomes that are important. Because without those genitals, you would say, well, it's the chromosomes that we want to check.
All right, so I'm a little confused on this. What I'm talking about is a person who is clearly and like clearly born with either a penis or a vagina, right? That's what I'm talking about, the overwhelming majority. So I guess you could kind of clarify either the person has what, XY chromosomes, or what is it? 'Cause
Some people are born with both. People who have mosaicism have both XX and XY chromosomes in their body. People with true mosaicism have 50% of their body has XX chromosomes and 50% of XY chromosomes. So,
but they're either
we don't
able
know.
to like have, I mean, how you're able to boil it down to what the like the structure of the chromosomes, where you can at least be like, okay, well, this person would be a male or a female, right?
We can
There's not
absolutely,
literally,
if we do proper karyotyping, we can determine whether somebody is genotypically male or genotypically female. However, in sexually dimorphic species, such as mammals, which we are, sex is broken up into genotypic sex and phenotypic sex. Genotypic sex would be your chromosomal makeup. Phenotypic sex would be the physical representation of that chromosomal makeup. So your reproductive systems, your genitals, things like this. It's not as easy as saying just chromosomes. If it was that easy, we wouldn't have thousands of biology books going into genotypic sex and phenotypic sex. It's just not that simple. Now we make it simple, we dumb it down, right? Because humans love to categorize things. So we dumb everything down. But when you look at the actual science behind it, it's much more deeper than just you have this or you don't have this.
but you're able to like at least be like, okay, this person would be a male or a female, right?
If they don't have like mosaicism or chimerism, it's possible, yes. But if they have mosaicism or chimerism, it's going to be a little more difficult than just saying what chromosomes do they have. If they have Swyer syndrome, it's going to be a little more difficult than just saying what chromosomal makeup do they have. If they have any of the other differences in sexual development, so any of the other intersex conditions, it's going to be a little bit more difficult just looking at the chromosomal makeup. That's why sex is a mix of your genotypic and phenotypic sex. It's not just one or the other.
Right, but it's, I mean, I like how the conversation always boils down to this, when what we're really talking about is someone who clearly is like a male or a female.
Wait, the conversation didn't boil down to this. I asked you very specifically. I asked you very specifically if you have humans alone, and those humans are never taught the concept of gender, will that concept become a thing to them? The answer would be no, because gender is an identity-based thing.
Well, their physical identity would be able, they would be able to be like, okay, I either pee standing up or sitting down. You know,
they may not pee sitting down.
Well, you know what I mean. They either have a penis or a vagina. So.
Yes, but that doesn't equate to their gender, right? This is the problem. When we talk about sex, sex is a list of biological characteristics associated with creatures that reproduce, just with creatures that reproduce, right? It's the biological characteristics assigned to reproduction, right? When we talk about gender, though, gender is a much broader thing. It's why in some cultures what it means to be a man is different than in other cultures, because there is no one straight line when it comes to gender. Gender fluctuates, gender changes. It's a
So,
social category. So this is why when people go, well, you lose truth, there is no truth in something socially constructed. It only
well,
exists in relation to the subject, which is us.
well, when you've grown up and knowing that the word man refers to a person with a penis your entire life, and then when you're 29 years old, people start saying, "Oh, you don't even have to have a penis to be a man." It's like, okay, now I'm getting confused. So
Wait,
why don't we
yeah,
use
I think
words
we
other? Hold on. So
go ahead.
what? I'm sorry. Not trying to be. So why don't we use words other than man or woman in this instance? It's just confusing.
I disagree. I grasped it pretty easily. I know children who've grasped the concept of trans women being women very easily, right? Because to them, they don't really have this like let's just be honest. Kids don't understand genitals like that, right? Like I would say a 5-year-old girl probably doesn't know what a penis is. I would hope so anyway. So to her, being a man is not about having a PP or a vahoo. It's specifically behavioral and phenotypic attributes that they recognize when they look at people, right? So
And
it's I wouldn't even say it's about uh introducing new concepts. It's just expanding on the concepts that we already inherently learn as people.
And what was your definition of what gender is based on again?
Gender, like as a concept, is the behavioral, social, psychological aspects of the sexes. So it's an amalgamation of
Okay,
like all
how
different
would you
things.
describe it without using the word sex or male or female? What would you say gender would be based off?
Why couldn't I use those terms?
Because those terms describe someone who has either a penis or a vagina.
Okay.
So why would we not just like what would you describe?
Wait, but I'm not using a circular definition here, right? I'm not saying that
Well, I mean, it
that
is.
no, it's not. A circular definition would be if I said a gender is people who gender is the behavioral aspects of your gender. That would be because I'm not telling you what gender is, but I'm saying that the way that the sexes behave, look, think, the way that the sexes, all of these, the way that the sexes exist socially, all of these things create gender. And then your personal, we can even go further because gender isn't just a social thing. Gender is also a personal thing, which is when we get into gender identity. And your gender identity is just the way that you subconsciously associate with your sex. So specifically in neurological textbooks, they describe gender as the subjective perception of your sex and the orientation of that sex.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Well, I mean, it's just if it just I don't think that we should be using if it's a social construct that that refers to. I mean, how would it just if it's a social construct, then it's almost like someone just being like, yeah, I'm like emo or I'm a raver or like I'm like a social something that society has constructed as identifying as someone who does a certain thing. Why would it not be like why would we use the words man or woman? I think we should just use different words because it's confusing. Like I don't think that there should be that the word male should be different from the word man. I don't believe gender
Wait. Then what are boys?
people with penises.
No, you said the word male and the word man should be interchangeable. So what are boys?
No, well, what I meant, I guess I misspoke. What I'm trying to say is I don't think that they should be interchangeable.
Wait, if you don't think that man and male should be interchangeable, you would agree with me. Because they're
Oh,
not
well then
they're not interchangeable.
now I'm getting I'm getting so confused now. All right, no, what I'm saying is I don't think that the word man should be used to describe someone who has a vagina.
Okay, so if I have somebody who's got vaginal agenesis and they want to identify as a man, you'd be
Not
okay with
in
that.
that instance. Let's take that
Well,
instance
no,
away
but
because
see, you
this is
can't do that. You can't make an absolute claim, and then when there's something that breaks the logic of your absolute claim, go, well, except for that thing. Right? That's just like if I were to go, if I were to
no,
go,
they
if I were to
that,
say, but wait, hold on. If I were to say, well, all humans have 10 fingers, and you say, hey, Jovan, here's a human that has 8. And I go, well, except for him, all humans have 10 fingers except for that guy. No, the claim all humans have 10 fingers would be wrong because they don't. Now, if you want to say
but
typically
they
men have penises, yes, typically men have penises. Typically women have vaginas. Absolutely. But there is always going to be an atypical. You can't put you there in just the way that like the human genome, it's impossible. Just the way our genome is set up, it is absolutely impossible to make absolute statements about the way that our bodies develop.
But it boils down to where you can actually see their chromosome structure to be a man.
Yes, but I've even
A
explained to you how
male.
that doesn't hold up sometimes. There are instances where you can't
There
just
are
look at the
instances,
chromosomes.
yes, there are instances where someone would be born differently, and then it would boil down to not just their physical structure, I guess, but their chromosome structure. But that's not what we're really referring to here. We
Well, it
now
is
have an
because
entire
you're making an
society that
absolute statement on what females and women have to be. So yes, we do need to boil into that. Unless you're saying there is no necessary condition to be a woman or to be female. If you're claiming there is no necessary condition, we don't need to boil into it, right? Because then there would be a typical and an atypical. But if you're saying there are absolutely necessary qualifiers that you have to fit into this category, then we absolutely have to boil it down to the very extreme it will go to make sure that nobody who does not have that quality also fits into the category.
there are absolutes, though.
Such as?
There are absolute males or females.
Sure, because sex is a bimodal spectrum. So there are people that fit
So
on the very
it does boil
the very
down. It does boil down to absolutes.
wait, no. There when we say somebody's like absolute male, right? Sex is a sex and dimorphic species is a bimodal spectrum. So you have the very peak of that spectrum, then you have everything in between that spectrum. So you are going to have men that are 100% the chromosomes in their body are XY, and they have no differences in sexual development. They have none of that. Okay.
This is just like it doesn't. This isn't even like the instance that we're
No,
referring
but
to.
what I'm saying to you, right,
It does
is that there are, because it's on a spectrum, there are going to be people that fall in between. In fact, we don't even know how many people actually have intersex conditions because we don't karyotype people at birth. So we don't know how many people actually have intersex conditions. The number could be way higher than what we estimated.
But it can be karyotyped, and it can come down to absolute male or female.
No, you could be somebody who sits on the peak of the spectrum, but that doesn't mean that all humans sit on the peak of the spectrum. Right? So saying like, oh, well, there will always be an absolute male is just factually inaccurate.
That's not true based on like literally what you're telling me that we can do, which is karyotype and figure out if the person is a male or a female.
But the difference is you're saying that humans are always going to fit neatly into both of those categories. I'm saying that's not the case.
99.9% of the time, and let's take that instance out. Let's just talk about people who were clearly born male or female.
The reason I don't take those instances out is because those are the things that disprove your point. Yes, if I could make a claim that was like if I made a claim that said all cars are red, and somebody said, well, there's a blue car right there, and said, no, leave those out. All cars are red. We don't talk about those ones.
Well, you could
Right?
karyotype that car. You could karyotype that car
Wait, but this is
to
what I'm
be
this is
either
what I'm
red,
this is
blue
what
or
I'm saying.
red.
If you go,
That's like,
everything fits my logic except for X, Y, and Z, then no, it doesn't fit your logic. You're just you're literally by definition you're special pleading.
oh my gosh, dude. Why use the word male? So again, let me just try and so you're saying that gender is based on the attributes of sex.
Yes. So are you actually. If your claim is gender is based on your penis or vagina, that would be a phenotypic attribute, which is part of what I mentioned. Phenotypic attributes, behavioral attributes, psychological attributes. Right? We didn't karyotype during caveman times, right? We didn't know
So
for sure what somebody was. We just said, well, we're going to guess what you are based on the phenotypic expression of your body. We're going to make a guess what your sex is.
we're talking about someone who is clearly born a female here, okay? Let's talk about that. This instance. Why should we say no, you're a person who is born with a vagina if they were clearly if they were clearly born with a vagina, why should we say no, you were clearly born with a penis?
We're not saying that.
We kind of are though.
No, we're not.
We're
What?
essentially
No, we're not. No one's saying that. No one's looking at a trans person going, you were born with a penis. No.
If woman is based on the attributes of a person who was born with a vagina, why should we say, oh no, you're a man?
Because their gender identity would align with their personal schema on males.
So why don't we use words other than man or woman here?
Because these people have an internal sense of self that aligns with man, and to call them something else would typically is going to result in them feeling some sort of gender dysphoria or unease or uncomfort. Just like if you were to be called woman every day for 20 years, even though you know you're a man, it's gonna start to get to you. Whether you believe it will or not, that's just how humans work, right? If enough negative things are said about us for a long enough period of time, we begin to take that negatively. So to them, they see being called man as a negative. Like for instance, a trans woman would see being called man as a negative. And since there is nothing lost from calling them women, why wouldn't we just show them basic human decency and call them women?
So that we don't lie and like tell them that they are like, why if I felt like if I my entire life felt like when I was a child, I literally thought that I was like Super Mario. Why should I be like
Super Mario is not a social category. There is no category of Mario. People don't identify as video game characters, right? Now you can dress up as Mario all day, all night, right? And if I have a kid who's got a Mario costume on, I was like, I'm Mario, I'm not going to look at him and go, no, you're not, smack him in the face and push them down. I'm not going to do that, right? When a kid puts on a Spider-Man costume, word up to my dog, I'm going to be like, oh, snap, Spider-Man's here, right? But the thing is, there's a difference between imagination and an identity. Identities are vastly different things. Identities are formed in our brain. When it comes to gender identity, we can see the parts of our brain light up when we experience things like gender euphoria and gender dysphoria. We can literally see our brain lighting up with it. Right? So it's not just I feel like I'm Mario, so therefore I'm Mario.
Well, right, like why is it different for me to say I feel like I'm a female, therefore I'm a female?
Because gender identity is an inherently neurological thing that exists in our brains.
It's the same thing.
It's not. I just
saying,
explained
like,
how it's different.
If I was clearly born, how is it different if I was clearly born a male, I have a penis, there's no
Can you define sex and gender for me? Because you're making these claims that they're the same thing. How would you define them then? How would you define sex and how would you define gender?
somebody who was born with a penis or a vagina.
Which I don't know which one you're defining there.
Are you serious? So you don't know what a person with a penis is?
No, I don't know which of those two terms you just used that definition for. I asked you to define gender and sex. All you said was a person with a penis or a vagina. That doesn't tell me what either of those two things are. That doesn't tell me what the concept of sex is. That doesn't tell me what the concept of gender is. That might be an example of one of them, but it's not telling me what these two things are in concept.
I mean, because you're gonna keep reverting back to the intersex scenario here.
We haven't even gotten there. All I did was ask you to define these terms, and you can't do it. Go ahead, ask me to define sex and gender. Ask me to do it.
You've already made it clear that you don't think that gender has anything to do with the physical attributes of a person.
Wait, I never said that because I specifically said gender is your I literally said that gender is the behavioral, psychological, and phenotypical attributes. Phenotypical literally means the way you look, the way your body looks, like I literally said this. It's an amalgamation of all of these three things, and then your gender identity is the way you associate yourself with those things. I've literally explained. So it just feels like you're not listening or you're not understanding some of the words I'm using, in which case I can explain those words, but you have to tell me which words you don't get.
I don't get how you would be like to a person who has a vagina, clearly who has been born a female, and be able to say, no, clearly you're a male.
Okay, but you haven't told me what sex is. So I don't know.
Sex is whether you have a penis or a vagina.
That doesn't tell me what sex is. That tells me examples of sex. Like that's like saying what's a car and I say Ford and Honda. Does that tell you
a man
if you wait,
is a person
imagine
who was born a male man
imagine
is
hold
a
on.
person with a penis.
Hold on, Jake. Imagine you're talking to somebody who has never heard of this concept. Never heard of it. You're talking to an alien who does not produce sexually like we do. And that alien goes, wait, sex? What is that? How would you describe it to them?
Sex is based upon whether or not you have a penis or a vagina.
I'm gonna role play the alien. What does that mean?
You can look at their private parts and tell if they have a penis or a vagina.
But why is a penis and vagina important?
Of like a snake-looking thing. The vagina would be, dude.
Wait. I'm the alien. I'm the alien. I don't know why that's relevant. Why that's important. Why do you guys categorize people in that way? Why is this important?
So that we can know if the person is able to bear childbirth or not.
Wait, what is childbirth?
So if you put a penis and a vagina together, then the person could be able to come inside, the penis is able to come inside and produce sperm inside of the vagina, and then after 9 months, a baby is formed. A new human being can come out of the woman.
Oh, okay. So you see how when we're trying to describe sex, it's not just penis and vagina. It's the biological attributes that connect with how we reproduce as a species. That's what sex is, Jake. That's what you just described.
Exactly what
No,
I've
it's
been
not.
saying, dude.
When you, Jake, when you just say it's a penis or vagina, that doesn't tell me any of the other stuff. That's just telling me it's a penis or vagina. This is why I asked you to be very specific, but you couldn't do it. Now, Jake, I'll ask you the second question. What is gender?
Gender. Oh my gosh, dude. Yeah, how would you describe gender to an alien? How about I ask you that?
I literally the
Gender,
same way I would
would
describe
say
it to you. The behavioral, psychological, or phenotypical attributes associated with the sexes. The same way I would describe it to you, Jake.
Right, so you would be either able to have a child, you'd be either able to. This is.
Jake, you're avoiding defining gender for me.
I think gender is the exact same thing as sex.
Okay, ready? I'm going to be the alien, right? Then I'm going to ask you one question. Then why are they different words, Jake?
Because some people do not want to be identified as somebody who has a penis or a vagina.
Oh, so the term gender is a new term. Like that you guys just came up with that recently?
Yeah, I would be like gender is literally. I would say that gender is the exact same thing as sex. That's what I would tell the alien.
And then again, the alien responds, so why are they different words, Jake?
Because people want to say that it's a social construct, and some people, even though they were born with the biological construct of a male, still want to be called a female.
So is this new? So this is a new thing then, Jake. The term gender is new. People came up with that recently, and you're saying that it's always been. Well, this is the alien. This is the alien asking. So the term gender is new. People have only ever used sex for thousands of years, and then some people very recently created the term gender.
Yeah, exactly.
So why was the term gender invented in the 1300s, Jake?
For people who want to identify as the opposite sex.
So when gender was created in the 1300s, it was so that people could identify as the opposite sex. When the English word gender, circa 1300, which originally meant kind, sort, class or kind of person or things sharing certain traits, from the old French word gendre, which is even older than that, by the way. When this word was created, it was specifically so that people of different sexes could identify as those sexes.
Ask that again.
You said this is a new thing. Gender was created. You said to the alien, gender is new. Gender was created recently. Is the 1300s recent?
Is that what we're getting at now?
Yes, because these are the claims you made. You said gender and sex have always been the same thing, yet they have wildly different definitions even from their inception. They had wildly different definitions. So how were they always the same thing?
Because typically a person who calls themselves a man would be somebody who has the biological construct of a male.
That's not what I'm asking now. I'm asking how gender is a recent thing when the word was created in the 1300s. And the word that was based on was created even earlier. How is it recent?
I mean, I guess you could say, I guess that would be subjective.
Okay, so it wasn't recent.
Well, I mean, I'm 29 years old and I have never even heard of gender being a social construct until a year or 2 years ago.
Okay, but does that
So
mean
why
that
is
wait, I just recently, just FYI, I just recently found out that mac and cheese existed. Does this mean it didn't exist prior to me finding out it existed?
well, what if you all of a sudden started saying that now mac and cheese could also be used to describe a cucumber?
But that's not what's happening, Jake.
I
And
mean,
that's a pivot of like a
it's
move of the
kind of what's
goalpost.
happening.
No, it's a move of the goalpost. You just said the
It
reason
is a
why
move.
sex
The
no,
whole
you
entire
just
thing is
said
a
the
move of the
reason why
goalpost.
sex and gender are the same thing is because I recently found out about it. But does you recently finding out about something change what that something is?
Yes.
Well, that's all I had to hear, Jake. Somebody did pay to boot
I'm
you,
just
so
kidding.
see ya.
21.
All right, and what do you lose by calling trans women women?
I would say, I kind of want to talk about that, but I wanted to talk about what you said earlier. Like, it
What did
just
I say
stood to me.
earlier?
When you was talking about animals
Uh-huh.
and how they know they roles, I wanted to bring up lions.
Uh-huh.
A lioness, she knows her role. All the lioness, they go out and they hunt and get food and they nurse the babies. A male lion protects the pack.
Do you know what happens to a pack when there's no male lions?
Every pack has a male lion.
No. Do you know what we have observed in packs without male lions? Like, you know what we have physically seen female lions do? They grow out their manes and then they take on those roles of protector. We've seen this happen.
But do you know that every lion pack has a male lion?
No, some
They
don't.
kick all the there's only one male lion per pack, right?
Yes, and if that
They
male
kick the
lion
rest-
dies, guess what the female lions will do?
They will find another one.
Nope.
They fight for their spots.
Nope. We have
Male lions
literally
fight for their spots so they can
seen
take-
the lioness take the role of the
Can you show
male
me
lion.
where it says that?
Yeah, sure.
Can you show
I'll
me
pull it
where
up right
says that?
now.
'Cause
I'll
I
pull it
have
up right
evidence too.
What's your evidence?
I can pull it up too.
Okay, pull it up.
That's fine. They fight for their spots.
Okay,
Two
so
male
wait, pull it
lions,
up.
they fight to take over one pack.
Here we go. So this is Discover Magazine. Do you know what Discover Magazine is? It's a scientific magazine. And they had an article called "It's Rare, but a lioness can grow a mane." This is from December 23rd, 2022. Discover Magazine is a scientific magazine. What are you talking about? It's a like fucking old scientific magazine that's been around forever. What are you
That's a
talking
fake
about?
article. My evidence is not the Lion King. If you watch and you observe animals,
I'm
you
sorry.
would know what
I'm
I'm
not on
talking
this fake
about.
article bullshit. What makes the article fake?
It's just not a source I would trust.
What no, that's not what I asked. What makes it fake?
It's not a source I would trust.
That's not what I asked. That's not what I asked.
There's a lot of these
What
fake art. I
I
can make
don't
an
trust.
article right
Hold on.
now.
I don't trust Fox News, but they still put out factually correct information from time to time. So what
Anybody
I'm
can
asking
make an
you,
article.
what makes this source fake? You have 5 seconds to answer that question, or I'm going to move on, because somebody that looks at Discover Magazine, which is a scientific magazine, and goes, "Well, that's just fake news." There's no
But
point
I
talking to
answered
you.
it.
There's no point talking to you.
I answered it, and you're not accepting
You
my
didn't
answer.
answer
I told
it.
you.
No,
how
you
I
told
feel
me why
about
you don't
what
trust. You
makes
told
it
me that
fake.
you don't trust it. That doesn't tell me why it's fake.
The reason why I feel like it's fake is because I can make an article myself and put it out there, and people would believe it. That's
Yes,
why I feel like
but
it's
who
fake.
are you?
So I answered it.
Are you a well reputable scientific journal magazine, or are you just some random lady on TikTok? Which one are you?
People wouldn't know the difference.
Which one are you?
People wouldn't know the difference.
What do you
Think
mean
about
they
it.
wouldn't know the
Just like
difference? What website are you?
encyclopedia.
Wait,
I
people
can
wouldn't know the
edit that
difference
too and put
between
everything.
Discover Magazine and you making a fucking blog post on Squarespace. People wouldn't know the difference between those two things.
No, not
Are
a
you
lot of people
joking?
know the difference.
Are you
I'm so serious.
are you
People
shitting a
don't know
brick?
what real sources are.
Are you shitting in
I'm
my
so serious.
cornflakes?
I'm so serious. People don't
Are
know what
you-
real sources
are
are.
you
They would read anything and
fucking-
believe that.
Are you fucking joking?
I'm so serious.
So there's
That's
no
why
point.
they teach you
There's
how to
no point
cite your
having. There's
evidence
no point having a
in
conversation with you.
They
So
teach- they teach you that in
okay? So
school.
hold on. What's your source? What's your source that lions don't do
I'm-
this?
Cause look, I'm over here being respectful towards you, and
What
you're
is
feeling
your source
offended
that
because I like your
what is your
aggressive.
source that lions don't do this? I'm not offended, by the way. I'm asking you questions. What is your source
All
that
right, hold
lions
on.
don't do this?
Give me a second. I'm about to pull it up right now.
Oh, you're gonna pull up an article? Oh my God! Watch, guys. She's gonna pull up an article.
It's basically saying the same thing.
Nobody
But
has any idea what you just said.
it's saying that a male's role as a lion is to protect the pack.
I never disagreed with that. I said that when the male lion is gone, female lions
They
will
find
grow out their manes and start taking over that role and
they
displaying male
find
traits.
another one.
Nope.
You know they find another one,
So
right?
where's your source? Where's your source for that?
All right, it's just common sense, but let me search it up again.
Common sense. Wow. It's just common sense, guys. Oh shit. I didn't know that was a fucking source. I have more sources, by the way, like Nature on PBS is one of the sources. NewScientist.com is one of the sources.
I bet now.
PopularScience.com is one of the sources. Okay.
I didn't choose the wrong animal because when a male lion dies,
What's your
another
source?
male lion would see that, okay, this pack is weak, and they will come and they will take over. Search that up. Search it up. Please search it
No,
up.
I asked you for a source. So what is your source? Search it up isn't a source. If I go to college and I type out an essay and I hand it to my professor, and in the citation it says search it up, I'm going to get an F. So what's your source?
Scientific American. Like, if you search it up, it will tell you the same
Oh,
stuff.
no, I don't believe that source, so it's fake.
I know a lot about lions.
No, I don't
know a
believe
lot
that.
about
I don't
lions.
believe that source. It's fake.
If you don't believe it, then you don't believe it. But it's
Yeah,
true.
I don't believe that source is fake, so I think you're lying.
People act like they know. National
you're
Geographic will tell you too.
No, I don't believe that
It'll tell you
source
the
is
same
fake.
thing.
Oh, National Geographic. So National Geographic is a source trusted source.
It would tell you that on Animal Planet. It would tell you.
Wait,
It's
just confirming.
Yeah,
National
it's fine.
Geographic is a trusted source, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So when National Geographic put out an article in 2018 that said female lionesses will grow manes when there are no male lions in the pack, so that would be correct, right?
Another lion.
No.
Another lion.
No. So when National Geographic put out a source talking about why lionesses will grow manes when there are no male lions around and they will take up the role of the male lion, when National Geographic puts that source out, that's correct, right? Because you said National Geographic is a reputable source.
I mean, if you could, yeah, that happens, but
Great, beautiful. So they don't have concepts. So they don't have these inherent concept of roles, and they will move in between roles as needed. Thank you, bruh. Thanks. Wow.
They're not male lions. That's the thing. They're not male lions, though. Male lions.
Wow. Did I ever say that female lions became male lions? Did that word ever come out of my mouth? Or did I say that female lions will grow manes and take over the role that the male lion vacuum exists in when there are no male lions? Or is that what I said? Did I say, no, female lions are changing their DNA and becoming male lions? I didn't say that. Fun fact, I never said that. So do you have something else?
Male lion
Do you have something else?
Don't have no male lion, they're going to take over it. And that's just a fact of the matter.
Oh, that's crazy. National Geographic says that when a female lion exists in a pack where there are no male lions, when a female lion exists in a pack and there are 0 male lions, they will grow a mane and take over that role. When the female lions exist in a pack where there are no male lions, when there are no male lions, they will take over those roles.
Are instinct or something? There's male lions. They're waiting for their turn. Some of them die.
I'm sorry. Do you think that there has never been an instance? Do you think there's never been an instance where all the males in the pack are dead and there's only females left? Are you stupid?
Not all of them.
I have a really important question for you.
With all male lions and female lions, it's just not going to be like that. when a
I have a
cub
real
that's
I have
a
a
male
really
gets a little bit older, they
I'm
will
sorry.
kick them out of the
I have
pack,
a really important
and
question
they
for
will
you.
find their
I
own
have a
pack.
really important
And it's a
question for you.
fact.
I just have a really important question.
That's what I'm
It's the
saying.
most
He is
important.
lying.
It's the most important question that I'll ask you all day. Okay, were you born
What's
dumb
up?
or did you become dumb later in life?
I was born smart. Being born dumb is telling you that I'm something I'm not. That's
You were
being
born.
born
You were
dumb.
born smart. You think so?
Yep.
That's
Yep.
yikes. I don't know who lied to you, but
Because
hopefully they
obviously you
stop
don't
doing
know
that.
nothing about lions. What
Really?
happens to a male
Interesting.
cub when they
Interesting.
get older? What happens to them?
Interesting. I know nothing about
What happens to 'em?
lions, yet I produced a source from the reputable source that
Well,
you
tell
said.
me what happens to male
That's
cubs
interesting.
when they get older. What
Again,
happens
it's
to them?
rare, but a lioness can grow a mane. Avis, a 16-year-old male lion at the
Not
Topeka
answering
Zoo and Conservative Center, passed away due to old age on August of 2020. Then a few months later, something strange happened to his female counterpart, Zuri. The 18-year-old lioness began growing a mane. Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Why did she do that?
But tell me this: what happened to a male cub when they get older? What happens to them?
What does that matter with the conversation?
It has a lot to do with it.
No, it
What
doesn't.
happens?
The conversation is, do
What
lions?
happens?
First of all, and this doesn't even matter.
You
The
making
main
it seem like
conversation.
there's a lot of
Is, do lions have a concept of gender? Which they fucking don't.
Yes, they do. I just
No,
gave you
they
the
don't.
concept.
That's not a concept of gender, you weirdo.
The female play their part and the male play their part.
That's not a
What you talking
concept
about?
of gender, dummy. That is just
Yes, it is.
instincts
They're
born out of like a biological need for survival. That's not gender. Lions don't walk around going, "Well, I can't wear that dress. That's a lady dress. That dress is for lady lions." They don't do that. They don't have a concept of gender.
Because they're not human.
Oh,
But I'm
it's
saying
almost like I said
the same
before that gender is
same
a
thing.
strictly human concept and only exists in people, therefore making it a social construction.
Gender is the same
Wow.
thing as sex.
I'll see you
Gender is the same
later, weirdo. Come on, bro. Please, dog. Please. There is no fucking way, bro. Let's bring in the next person, Katie. Hello, what's your age?
40.
All right, and what do we lose by calling trans women women?
Nothing.
Based as fuck. So,
Um,
follow-up question. Do you think it's important to gatekeep a gender?
Gatekeep a gender? No.
Cool.
I just have some few questions.
Okay.
So I kind of think about the good intentions, consequences, right?
Uh-huh.
So what does someone have to do to be transgender?
Have a gender identity that aligns with their social schema on female.
So they just say that that's how they feel, right? They grew up like that. That's how they feel.
Can I just ask you, how would somebody prove that they're attracted to men?
I don't know how they feel.
So like a gay man can't prove that he's gay?
Well, you can, kind of, yes.
How?
How,
I'm sure
getting
he could do certain. He could act in certain
getting
ways, or he
excited
could
around
like
being
engage in
same
certain
sex, I
behaviors.
guess.
Sorry.
I'm assuming that they have arousal around the same gender.
Right, but generally in public, people don't, show the main physical aspect of being aroused, right?
Yeah, I can be attracted. I can look at a woman and go, she's attracted, but not without getting aroused.
Yeah.
Well, you would be aroused, but that's all right.
Wait, what do you think it means to be aroused?
Adrenaline, butterflies in the stomach, longing gaze. What?
I think we're talking about aroused. I think when you say aroused, you mean attracted.
And we
But,
mean
like,
sexual arousal. So there's
Sure.
just a difference in the way we're using the words.
Yeah. So so the thing is that people can display certain behaviors to show that they are attracted to someone, but realistically, attraction is just a neurological process that occurs, within the brain that you're not going to be able to see.
I agree,
So
but you can see it if you, like you said, you do like brain scans and stuff like that.
yeah,
When
which
you
is the same with gender identity. You can see it if you do brain scans.
So my only question is this, really. This is the only one that I kind of think about. Did y'all see the one with the flight attendant and there was a woman or a man, trans man, and the flight attendant wanted to kick them off the plane because the seat was assigned to two females and she was saying that she was a male.
Huh?
It was a video that came out maybe about a month or half ago or so.
Is
They
the
had
video
booked-
of
they
is
had
the
booked some
video
tickets.
of like a flight attendant reading a tablet and then like talking into a phone?
Yeah, he's got a blonde ponytail.
It was staged. I'm really looking.
Okay.
Video shows staged pronoun argument with flight attendant, not real.
Okay, well, the video is moot, really, to be on the point. My question is, if someone is not presenting as a male or female or man or woman, whatever, what would have happened had this not been staged? She had taken legal action, lost. Where would you have incarcerated
What would
this
she
person?
have taken legal action against? Like there was no law broken.
No, like the flight, public endangerment, getting kicked out of flight. You can get charged with public endangerment.
Wait, so I have to come up with a reason why if a staged thing had happened, if a trans person freaked out on a flight, the same thing if a cis person freaks out on a flight.
Is all you're asking, should a trans woman go to a women's prison or a men's prison? 'Cause you can just ask that.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we have like a lot of safety processes for those kind of cases, right? So when a trans person goes to prison, they have to have some kind of evidence that they have been living as their gender identity for, I don't know the exact period of time, but they have to show some kind of evidence. Usually they have to show some kind of evidence of like therapy, having been to therapy of some sort. They also get placed into isolation when they're first put into whichever prison they go to first. They get placed into isolation until they can determine which prison is going to be safest for both them and the other people within it.
Well, when you say safest, what does that mean?
Well, a trans woman, just really quickly, a trans woman who fully identifies, who fully presents, who fully does all of that as a woman is going to be in more danger at a male prison because she's more likely to be assaulted by the males in said prison. Trans women in general are more likely to experience gender violence.
What about trans men? That's what I'm asking.
Same thing.
So you're saying that a trans man is not a real man.
Huh?
Excuse me?
If you say that they are more susceptible to violence as a trans man in a male prison, I'm asking why.
No, in a female prison.
I'm not talking about females. I
said
I already know.
A trans man is more susceptible to violence in a female prison, not a male prison.
A trans man, so a born biological female is more susceptible to violence in a female prison?
Yes. At least that's what the data shows us currently, yes.
I know you can't.
Huh?
I know you can't think that.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Can you possibly cite that source of data you have?
Yeah, hold on. So this comes from an NBC News article. It's titled "Strip Searches, Trauma, Isolation, Trans Men Describe Life Behind Bars." So that would be, and it's two trans men who talk about
That
how
was
how
strip.
it's you're lagging very, like, a lot.
Sorry. I'm listening.
Yeah, it's an article. It's an article that interviews two trans men, and how they talk about how it's not safer in men's facilities. I can find more if you'd like.
No, you're good. I'm just curious. I'm not sure if I'm still lagging. Am I still lagging? How you think a
no,
person with a person with a, as Jake said, a vagina and breasts in a prison full of males is more safe than a trans man in prison with females?
Because females also assault them.
I understand that assault happens in prison. Just, it's gonna be a little wrap around my brain to think that aggressive males are safer than aggressive females.
Wait, okay, hold on. Do you think that, for instance, when we look at, like, male prisons, right? Do we think that? Actually, here's a better question. Do you think men are oftentimes, what's the word I want to use? How often do you think men are turning gay in prison? That's the question I'll ask.
Probably almost none.
Okay. So you recognize that trans men are going to look like the sex that these men don't want to have sex with.
No. See, like I said, I will look at that video again as debunked, but that trans male that was portrayed did not look like a effeminate man.
Yes, because it wasn't a real trans man.
Oh, I understand.
So that wouldn't shock me.
I have seen people on this app that have said that they are trans men and they clearly present as female.
Do you think those are the ones that are going to prison?
I don't know. Anybody can go to prison. That's subjective.
Okay, where do you think trans men should go? Like, what prison do you think they should be in?
Well, that's the whole argument between your side and mine, is that they should be allowed into the spaces in which their genetics and physical appearance define them as.
So, if they physically look like a man, they should be in a male prison.
Yes.
So, if a trans man passes, they should be in a male prison.
Passes what?
Passes as man.
Yes.
You just said they shouldn't be.
What do you mean?
You said
No,
that trans
I said
men
if they pass. If a trans, how does a trans man pass as a man? Physically speaking.
by looking like a man.
What does a man look like?
We can talk typically broad shoulders, facial hair, typically more muscular, typically more defined
Females
jawline.
have.
That's why I
Females
said the word
have.
typically. That's why I said the word typically.
That defeats your whole argument.
No, it doesn't.
Because if you're taking a small subset and defining that as the majority,
I'm not. That's why I said typically. I'm not making any normative claims here. I'm saying that typically this is phenotypically what men look like, right? At least in our society. You're the one who said
Okay.
that they should go into the prison based on how they look. So like a trans woman should be in the woman's prison if she looks like a woman.
Yes, physically, if she looks like a woman, sure, why not?
So then I don't understand what the problem is here.
Because you have people that do not physically and project what they look like.
Does the physical look of them mean that they're going to be less harmful to the inmates inside of the prison, or at less risk for harm by the inmates inside of the prison?
I'm not saying harmful to the prison population. I'm saying the prison population harmful to them.
Well, wait, wait. So if I have a trans woman and she goes into a woman's prison and she's phenotypically looks like a woman, but she doesn't have a dick, how is she in any more or less harm? Because she might.
I didn't say it. No, you're taking someone who has already had all the surgery.
Wait, no, you don't have to have. You don't have to bottom surgery to look phenotypically like a woman.
You most certainly do.
Here, because you're also saying like it defeats your whole argument, but like we haven't provided an argument because you've just been asking really strange questions about prison. Like we're not providing you with an argument right now.
It's not an argument. It's a question.
No, you just said 2 minutes ago that something Jovan said by using the word typically defeated his argument, but Jovan isn't providing an argument right now.
Well, his argument earlier was that outlying people should be accepted for what they believe without any physical or visual proof.
No, that's not what we said.
Huh?
Katie laid out how it's determined what prison someone should go into. None of us ever said you should just go into the prison based on how you look or feel. None of us said that. There would be guidelines to determine if you are actually trans or not.
What are the guidelines?
Katie laid them out for you.
Providing proof that you've been living as the gender identity you claim to be. I don't know how long it is. I apologize. I'm not in the study of criminology anymore. But it's you have to have proof that you've been living as that gender identity. You have to I'm pretty sure you have to also provide some kind of proof of therapy as well. So basically somebody who presents completely as a woman claiming to be a man and has absolutely no proof that they've been living as a man and being recognized as a man or out as a man, they're not going to be put in a men's prison because they are just saying something.
All right, so my second question would be this. That woman, she doesn't meet the criteria, correct? She comes out of prison, she's only in there 6 months, whatever. She goes to a female prison. She comes out.
Uh-huh.
Am I legally obligated to still call her a man?
There's no legal obligation to call anyone anything.
Okay, well then I'm fine with all your arguments. As long as I'm not legally obligated.
There's never been a legal obligation,
but there is a push for legal obligation.
No, there's not.
No, there isn't.
Where? No one. Wait, we literally have a thing in America called freedom of speech. You can't be your speech cannot be legally compelled. Save for like threats or like words of harm or something like that. But this wouldn't be words of harm.
So I'm gonna have to
what are they called? Fighting words or something
look
like
this one up.
I feel like this is a misconception that happened because of one news article about this dad. There was a news article that headlined that this father was being put in prison or had been arrested for misgendering his child. That wasn't true. He was arrested because he was consistently talking about the case.
He violated
because there was already a case for neglect.
Well, there's a court order that told him that he couldn't share information about the case, medical information about his child outside of the courtroom, and he went on a podcast and shared all of that stuff and basically doxed his wife.
Was the Texas case, right?
No, this one was in Canada.
Yeah, and the headline said that he was arrested for misgendering, but that just wasn't true. Like, there's no law about misgendering.
So I would have to delve a little further. Was there not a professor that was let go from his college
Are you talking about Jordan Peterson?
No, not Jordan Peterson. This was another one.
Wait,
Let go from his college because he refused to comply to their pronouns.
Wait, two things. A college can make a determination about what they think their professors should, how their professors should engage with their students. They have that right to. They're a private institution, right? And
Okay, I understand
most state colleges don't have these. But if you're talking about, there was a professor who was reprimanded for it, but he won a court settlement when the court said, "Oh no, you can't compel his speech like that," and he won a court settlement for it.
All
And
right,
is
so
allowed.
he won. All right.
So again,
Like, I'm on your side as long as I'm not
not
compelled to do it.
Here's the thing: I'm not making a claim that you have to call trans women women. I'm saying if you lose nothing by it, what's the point of not doing it? If you lose nothing, what's the point about
Right.
showing a little bit of respect?
And I can understand that. All I'm saying is I don't want. So in my job personally, this is anecdotal. In my job personally, I see hundreds of different people a day. Now, if I go and I'm a sir or ma'am kind of guy. Good morning, sir. Good morning, ma'am. Good afternoon, whatever. If I were to misgender somebody and they get upset, then I gotta get on the defense. I'll be like, oh well, I'm sorry. And on a day-to-day basis, I can agree with that. I'm fine with that. What I don't want to see happen is this become a movement in which if I do that, then I'm subject to some sort of penalty because the way you present is not my stereotypical site.
Wait, so two things really quickly. A, I've never met a trans person that puts up a stink past, oh hey, this is just a minor correction, like, oh hey, it's actually sir. And then they move on. Right? The only time I ever see trans people getting really angry is when they make it expressly clear, hey, could you please call me sir? And then someone doesn't have the basic decency to do that and keeps calling them other things. The other thing is, I think there's a difference between being legally compelled and being compelled in the court of public opinion. For instance, if I run a business and I'm a plumber and I constantly misgender my clients and they negatively review me on Yelp and say this person always misgenders me, so nobody wants to hire my service because they don't like me anymore, well, that's a natural consequence of what I did.
That's fine. I understand that too.
So
Like
I
I
don't
said,
think we have
all
any
I said
contention.
is I just don't want this to become a legal thing.
It never can because of the First Amendment. It physically never can.
Okay, well, we also said that about the Second Amendment, but that's all right.
Well, they likely
The
wouldn't.
Second Amendment still exists.
It's so unlikely
Within-
that this will ever be taken into the
small
legal system
infringements.
because of how hard it would be to prove. Like, if it was like, oh, you misgender someone, that's a crime now. Imagine trying to prove that. Like in a passing by social interaction, somebody walks through the door and you say, good morning, sir, instead of ma'am. Like, they're gonna then have to prove that you said this word in court. Like, no, this isn't gonna happen.
Like I said, I'm on your guys' side. I don't care what someone wants to do. But the minute it comes legal, it makes me worried. Sorry, makes me worried.
Okay, well, it's not going to be. Was there anything else?
No, that'll be it.
Okay. No
Right,
problem.
well, I appreciate your time.
Hello, what's your name and age?
Good morning, Joe Van Bradley.
Okay, what's your name and age?
Do I sound under 18?
I asked for TikTok purposes. Name and age, please.
Do you have critical thinking abilities? Both.
I'm going to ask the question again. If you can't answer it, I'm going to move on.
All right.
Name and age.
I'm over 18. I'm over 18.
Okay. What's your name?
My name is always and forever.
Got it. And what do you lose by calling trans women women?
Well, you diminish the divinity of women.
What do
You diminish the sacred nature and esoteric, ethereal, childbearing sanctimony in the divinity of these creatures which bring us about to life in this world, they're reduced. They're reduced that anybody can now pick to
Hey,
be
can I ask you a
what these
question?
sacred divine creatures
Can I
are
ask you
and
a
what they
question?
do. Go ahead.
Are you just here to perform?
No, I'm giving you the honest truth.
Yeah, can you talk like a normal
Women
person and
are
stop performing?
divine, sacred creatures
Can
that are
you
being reduced
Uh-huh.
by just letting any old person come up and be like, yeah, I'm a
Well,
woman
first
too.
of all, we would not be
No,
reducing, we would be expanding. You're the one who's reducing. That's how those words work. We're saying
no,
the
well,
category should be expanded. You're saying the category needs to be reduced to just people that can give birth. So learn those words, please.
well, you can allege that, but you got to argue that. And I mean,
I
I
can
haven't
argue it.
heard a
I
good
think that
argument.
I want to expand the category to include more people. You want to reduce the category down to contain less people. That is quite literally what reducing is. There,
No,
I argued it
well,
really, really substantially. I'm not reducing anything. You are. Second of all, stop performing. This isn't Saturday Night Live. This isn't live at the Apollo. You're just having a conversation with me. You
no,
don't need
you
to
just don't
perform.
like, because I'm in touch with spirit and soul, and
You're
I can
performing.
recognize the divine nature of an actual true woman, their
What's the
grace,
nature of a
their
true woman?
grace, the grace of nature and the
What's the? You're just
sanctimony
saying
of a
words.
woman
What's the
and her
nature of a true?
emotion.
Yeah,
Well,
you're
you
just
have to
saying
have a little
words.
bit, you have to be a little bit intelligent and in touch with spiritual nature and grace and
What is the
divine and the
nature of a
divinity.
true woman?
It's her femininity. It's her divine femininity, her grace, her compassion.
You think that women are, okay, so let's just go through this. Do you think A, women are the only creatures that can be feminine, B, women are the only creatures with grace, and C, women are the only creatures with compassion?
Well, no, they're not, but
Oh,
they're
okay.
a guy can have
Okay.
those characters too, but they would be known as a femboy or something like that. They can't be,
Wait,
you can't just be
hold
like,
on.
oh,
So, just confirming, these things are not inherent to women, yet they are women's innate value. How's that work?
yeah, I mean, there's always exceptions to the rule. Every circumstance, there's always exceptions to the rule.
That's not true.
And there's always this. But this has been going on for decades over in Southeast Asia and over in Thailand. They have
Wait,
the
I just want to confirm something. There's not always exceptions to the rule, right? Like if I say the rule is that humans have to be a part of the human genome, there's no exception to that. There is no human that exists alive that is not a part of the human genome. That's a rule with no exceptions. Are you saying that there are rules for women that have
well,
zero
of
exceptions, or
course.
does like the category women have exceptions in it?
Well, I'm saying generally. Everything is always generally. Even like, so if I say there's always exceptions to the rule, just in your case, where you say, oh no, everybody has this certain DNI or whatever you said, that's the exception to the rule.
No, there is no
But
exception to the human genome rule. There's quite
yeah,
literally
exactly.
none.
So
That
yeah,
is an
so it's always a
exceptionless rule.
general term. We always have to talk in
Wait,
general
that's not.
terms. We
Wait.
can't
But
say
you
in
didn't talk in.
absolutes.
You didn't talk in generals. You talked in absolutes. You said that there like that's there. You made an absolute statement that there are always exceptions to a rule. That's an absolute statement.
Yeah. So if we go back in history and we see who has the monopoly on this phenomena that's going on, we can travel
What
back to East
phenomena?
Asia, we can travel back to Thailand, we can travel back to Vietnam, where many men are, dressing like women, they're effeminate, they're living like women, they're doing all these things. But the difference between the Western situation and the Eastern situation is that the Eastern situation would never actually try to convince you that they are in fact biologically a woman.
There's no
That's
such
the
thing as
difference.
biological women.
Well, that's just dishonest,
No, it's
disingenuous. That's
not.
just a flat out
Woman is a
lie.
social category. There's no woman in our DNA, right? We can be female because female in male they are part of like a sexually dimorphic species such as mammals, but there's no woman. There's no woman gene.
Well, the definition of woman is a female that has grown into her body or, gone through who have gone through their younger self and now comes into womanhood.
What is
That is the
the
general
definition of a
definition
woman? Is someone who's come into womanhood? That doesn't tell me what a woman is.
It's a divine feminine creature that is of age, that has passed her flowering age.
Okay,
So
RuPaul is a divine creature that's feminine. Is RuPaul a woman?
not biologically,
Well,
or
you
no, they
didn't
don't
say
fall
anything
into the category
biological.
of
You
feminine.
said a divine feminine woman. That's not biological.
Well, they
There's
call
no
them in
biological
East
femininity.
Asia, and this is a slur. Don't take this as a slur, but in East Asia, they call themselves lady boys. That's what they are. And they have, it's not a slur to them, but the leftists will take that and be like, oh, you're a slur now. Just like, oh, but cisgender isn't a slur, but, you know, a lady boy is, when they've been calling them this for decades, and they don't take that to heart. They're not offended by that. The difference between the
I don't know what
Western
that has to do with anything.
situation is that they're psyoping these kids and these people into thinking that they can actually be biological women, that they are actually women when they're
What is?
not.
Wait,
They're
I'm sorry. What
effeminate
is?
men.
I
They're
want to know
lady
if you can
boys.
tell me. I want to know if you can tell me what does psyop mean.
It means that you are, it's like, why do we have advertising laws for children? Because they're easily tricked.
That didn't
You
answer my
guys are
question.
tricking children, in conjunction with the pharmaceutical companies,
That didn't answer
so
my
they
question.
can put out the hormones and the surgeries and become
Okay.
pharmaceutical companies for life.
Okay, I'm
They
just gonna.
went right from the Corona grift. As soon as Corona was done, they put the pedal to the floor with the trans psyop on these kids, so they can do the surgeries, they can do the hormones, they can do the injections, and these doctors, they can make their money for, you know, make just tons and tons of money for the rest of these patients' lives.
You're really shooting for that Oscar, huh?
No, that's the truth, sir.
You're
that's
performing.
That is matter of fact.
Every time I ask you a question, you don't answer it. You didn't tell me what a psyop is. I asked you what's a psyop. You didn't tell me what it is. You just started rambling. No, you just started rambling about the COVID-19 shit. That's all you started doing. So can you
that was a psyop?
No,
too.
when I ask you what a psyop is, I expect a definition of the term. Not, this was a psyop. Great. What's the definition of psyop? What does psyop mean?
I'll give you an example of a psyop.
I don't want an example. I want you to tell me what it feels like you're using a word. You don't understand the meaning of the word. You just use it for things you don't like. That's why I'm asking you for the meaning of the word.
The full word is psychological operation. It's like a term that was coined by the, I don't know, CIA back in the 60s. And they would do things to the population, to society, to trick them into making them believe, like the moon landing. Like the
I'm sorry, you don't believe the moon landing?
on the moon is under 200 degrees Celsius. There's no battery, there's no telephone, there's no radio that could go to the moon and back. That was a psychological operation. I mean, and if you want to believe, if you take a look at the moon lander, it's made out of tin foil and tape, and the whole thing was produced in a Hollywood studio. That's a psyop. That's a psychological operation. That was a big money grift for NASA. That was a way for the government to fulfill the population's money into NASA and spread out the money that way. And then a more broader definition of today would be like, again, why are there advertising laws for children? Because children are easily tricked.
Wait, can I ask you a question? Can I ask you a question? If the moon landing was fake, how come we can see like the stuff still up there with telescopes?
You can't.
You can.
I'm not sure if they sent a rover.
Wait, if you go to an observatory, like with a powerful enough telescope, you can see the shit there. It's still sitting there. So like, how is it fake?
Jovan, go take some look at the moon lander and see what it's made out of, and understand that the temperature on the moon is under 200 degrees Fahrenheit. What kind of electronics and battery systems and anything else could withstand those freezing temperatures? Anybody with any common sense or rationality or understanding of science and the way that batteries work, the way that electronics work, the way that fuel works, all those things, it was completely impossible in that time and age. So
Wait,
you can
why do you think it was impossible?
Through a telescope. It's all bullocks, man. I mean, if you want to believe the psyop, you being psyoped. You've been psyoped.
They use silver
Joel.
zinc batteries. Silver zinc batteries.
Yeah, I mean, that's what a leftist always do. That's George Orwell's book. In the end of the book, he says the end of their, psyop is going to be like when you don't even believe what's in front of your own eyes.
Wait, you
And that's
asked
what
me.
I see
You said
all
what
you guys
batteries?
here on
You told me
TikTok
what
is
batteries
doing.
did they use, and I gave you the batteries. Silver zinc batteries.
What are you talking? They didn't have that. They had lead acid.
I'm sorry, they didn't have
back
silver
then.
or zinc in the 60s? They didn't have silver or zinc? Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah. Oh, and that's supposed to be. Is that
Interesting.
supposed to be the equivalent of lithium batteries?
No, they're
A
not
lithium
lithium batteries. They're
battery
silver
today,
zinc
why
batteries.
aren't they using that then today? And minus
Because they
200
invented
degrees
lithium
Celsius,
batteries since then.
You're out of your mind. You being
Wait,
psyoped.
they invented, are you dumb?
psyoped.
They invented new batteries since then. What do they have the need to use silver zinc batteries anymore?
Go
They
look
invented
at
new
the
batteries.
pictures of the friggin' lander. If
I
you
have.
think that thing can go to the moon and back, you are psychologically insane.
did.
You belong in a mental institution.
it
You
did.
being psyoped.
I'm sorry, do you have any
You are
do you have
out of
any
touch
I'm
with
sorry.
reality,
I'm sorry,
man.
just quick question. Do you have any direct proof that they didn't go?
Just look at the letter.
Just
look
look
at the
is not
temperature.
just look is not
Look
proof.
at the electronics.
Just look
They
is not
staged
proof.
the whole thing. They had
Just
a
look
live
is not
phone
proof.
call with satellites.
Just look is not proof.
Well, any rational see, I believe what I can see. I'm a critical thinker.
Just
I have the
look
thought
is
of
not proof.
discernment. I have the thought of scrutiny. I can understand technology. I can understand what kind of technology was available to them back then, and it was definitely not
Just
nothing that
confirming.
could go to
So
the
just
moon.
confirm you're not religious, right?
No, I'm very religious.
So you only believe in things you can see, but you're religious.
Well, I believe no, because I've been convicted. I've been liberated. I know about the Bhagavad Gita. I know about the Torah. I know about the Quran. I know about the Bible. I've seen purified devotees of the Lord. I've seen my spiritual masters.
But you only believe.
Devotee
But you
of
only
the
believe
Lord.
things you can see. Yeah.
No, because you
Interesting.
have to go by who. How do you know who your father is? By the advice of your mother. That's the way you got to look at it.
by gene testing.
No, well, before gene testing came along, it was by the advice of your mother.
Well, gene testing
And that's the way
now.
it's been. So before the internet, before pictures, before all these things, they have books.
Gene testing exists now.
And not only that, they have all of these very ornate carvings of all of these deities.
And
thousands and thousands and thousands. That's like,
do you believe in mermaids?
That's equivalent to the internet.
Do you believe in mermaids?
With all this information about the soul.
Do you believe in mermaids?
Purificatory. What?
Do you believe in mermaids?
No, because I'm a critical thinker.
Really? Because we have a bunch of historical records of people who wrote down that they saw mermaids. We have intricate carvings of mermaids from back in the day. We have first-hand accounts of mermaids. These are all the same things that you claim we have for religion. So why don't you believe in mermaids?
Well, because show me the mermaid Bible then. Show me the purification of the mermaid Bible.
The Bible is the claim, not the source. The Bible is the claim, not the source.
Show me their culture.
The Bible is the claim.
Show me the culture of mermaids.
The Bible
Show
is.
me their cities.
Sure. Have you ever seen Little
Show
Mermaid?
me their town. Show me their books.
Sure. Have you ever seen?
Show me all their things.
Sure. Have you ever seen Little Mermaid?
Yeah, I mean, see, now you're just talking total nonsense.
No, Little Mermaid is a first-hand account of mermaids.
If you want to find the truth, I'm here to find the truth. You're not here to find the truth. You're here to adulterate the truth, Joe.
I'm here to adulterate the truth. Interesting.
That's right. It's like mixing water with oil. Why is everything come against the standard purity of water?
What's coming against the purity of water?
Graded against the purity of water.
Wait, how pure is water?
It's the purest substance on this earthly plane.
Water is the purest substance on this earthly plane.
Yeah. Hey, do you live with Mr. Jones?
Does that matter?
Yeah, I seen you guys in the same room one time. I'm like, these guys got a whole leftist operation going on down there.
I rent a bedroom. That's a leftist operation.
Can you get Mr. Jones to unblock me, please?
No. So you are just here to perform. You are just here to perform.
No, I'm not. Everything I've said is being truthful.
No, you're just performing.
What's being untruthful about what I've said?
Almost everything.
Oh, because I debate
What
you about
about
the
water?
moon
What about
landing,
water with
because I
chemicals in
debate
it?
you about women,
Is
because I
water with
debate you
chemicals in
about
it okay?
God. Pardon?
Is water with chemicals in it okay?
Well, that's when Alex Jones said they're turning the frogs gay, they are, because they put atrazine in there.
That's not what I asked. I asked is
Atrazine.
water.
If you go
That's not
test
what I asked.
atrazine,
I asked is
if you put
water. That's
if
not
you
what
put atrazine in the women, you're gonna get these trans men and these trans women, whatever you want to call them.
Wait, what chemicals are bad in water?
Fluoride.
Fluoride is bad.
Yes.
Okay. Is that it?
Anything it's H2O. What is it?
So anything.
It's hydrogen and oxygen. It's 2 parts hydrogen to 1 part oxygen.
So dihydrogen monoxide would be bad.
Yeah. So how did they freeze? How would that water be on the moon for those astronauts to drink? At
There were
minus
heaters.
200 degrees.
There were heaters in. I also they weren't on the moon that long. They
right.
Like the water would have stayed in the shuttle, and then they would have gone. They went back. They weren't
Their
on the moon
heaters.
now.
What were they burning? Propane.
Do you think?
What kind of heat source were they using, Jovan?
They were using the batteries I told you about. Do you think that dihydrogen monoxide in our
like
water is bad? Can you
heater
just answer my question?
on a
Can you
battery?
answer my question? Do you think that
Go ahead.
dihydrogen monoxide in our water is bad?
I don't know. That's probably some inert thing you're doing just to try and troll me, or
No,
or,
I'm asking
or,
you a legitimate question. Or do you think having dihydrogen
I don't know what
monoxide in
that
our
is.
water
I
is
would
bad?
have to look into it, my friend.
Okay, you don't know what dihydrogen monoxide is in water.
No.
Okay.
No, sir.
It's also in food sometimes.
Yeah, I mean they put all kinds of crap in food now.
Yeah, well, like every food they put dihydrogen monoxide in it.
Yeah,
I don't think there's
different chemical
unless you have
names.
like freeze dried food that might not have any dihydrogen monoxide in it, but most food is dihydrogen monoxide.
I mean, I don't know the ins and outs of every chemical structure. That's what you leftists always do. It's like Dean.
Well,
He'll be like, how many
said that
continents are there?
you said
it's
that
like Dean will say, how many continents are there? And you know what?
Well,
That's the
wait.
same thing as asking, hey, Dean, that's like asking how many languages are there? Like, tell me all the languages.
Well, you specifically
who
said
knows
that they're
off
adding.
the tip of their tongue?
Well, you said they're
Who
adding
knows that
chemicals, so I assumed you would
it's
know.
It's a tactic used to try and ridicule someone or make them appear unintelligent or do any of those things. But it doesn't work for any rational thinker, any critical thinker, anybody with scrutiny, anybody with discernment, anybody who knows what this material nature is.
Well, here I'll give you some facts on dihydrogen monoxide, and you tell me if it's good or bad to have in our food and our water. You can make dihydrogen monoxide by burning rocket fuel. Good or bad?
I don't know about these chemical structures.
That's why I'm giving you the information so you can tell me. Do you think it's good or bad that you can make it by burning rocket fuel?
I don't know. I don't know what it is. I don't know what the substance. I don't know its chemical composure. I don't know. I'm not a scientist in that arena.
Okay.
But I do study the science of material nature, and I study the science, the constitutional position of the soul that's transcending through this universe.
Here, I'll give you another fact. I'll give you another fact about it. Dihydrogen monoxide is in every single pesticide. It's in every single one. Good or bad?
I don't know what game we're playing here, but I got no answer. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it does.
That's
I don't care.
That's why I'm giving you the facts on it.
Well, tell me what it is.
Dihydrogen monoxide?
Used in pesticides. What's the chemical structure of it?
Dihydrogen monoxide is the chemical structure.
It's like, well, I know carbon monoxide can kill you.
Yep.
Unalive you.
Every single person that comes into contact with dihydrogen monoxide will die.
Yeah.
Every single person.
I mean, it could be incredibly toxic, man.
Yeah, it could be incredibly toxic.
Yeah. So the thing is, we're not these bodies. We are the stage has been set, and we are actors playing on this stage of life, just like a Shakespearean book. Yeah.
We're actors playing in this game of life.
That's it. This stage is being set, and we are the actors here to play. We're gonna.
So there's no free will?
To see Who can liberate themselves of their demoniac, if they want to be demonic, or if they want to be godly, if they want to be good, or if they want to be evil. That's the duality that's going on in this earthly realm. It's the battle between good and
Wait,
evil
just
is
confirming, just
eternal.
confirming. I want to confirm this. We're actors, which would mean that we're playing by a script, which would mean everything we do is predetermined. So there's no free will?
No, the actors get to choose within the bounds
Actors
of
don't get to
material
choose.
nature.
Actors don't choose.
Pardon?
Actors don't choose. Actors play by a script.
Well, it's just a general term to make you understand the stage and where we're at, because we can only act within the certain rules, within the birth, the death, within old age, within disease, within eating, within sleeping.
Dihydrogen monoxide
Within
causes old age, by the
shelter.
way. It causes aging.
So we have all of these laws of nature. We have the seasons. There's so much order in these seasons. Have you ever seen any machine that does not work out without an operator? Can you name
Yes.
one machine? Which machine?
Most computers.
No, these machines are being operated. They were built. They have engineers, they have creators, they have designers, they have
Wait, if
architects, they have
I hit
manufacturers,
play
they have
on a YouTube,
fabricators.
wait, if I hit play on a YouTube video and it's on a loop, it'll just run forever. I don't ever have to touch it. It'll run
Because you
forever.
operated that function, because you wrote the code. Somebody wrote the code for you to do the
Okay, so
loop
God
on the video.
just wrote the code and then he fucked off somewhere and he was like, go nuts.
Yeah, who is the original father? Who you have a father, your father has a father, his father has a father. Who is the original father?
Which God do you
That
believe
is the
in?
purpose of human life.
Which God do you believe in?
I believe in Vishnu.
In Vishnu.
I believe in Krishna. I believe in Rama. I believe in Govinda. I believe in Madhava. I believe in Vamana.
Okay.
There's so many names of the Lord. I believe in Allah. I believe in Jesus Christ. I believe
so you
in
think
Buddha.
they're all the same?
All the Torah, the Bhagavad Gita, the Bible, they all go back to the same thing. The common denominator between all religious texts is service to God. To being a servant of God. That's it. So in this life, you can choose to serve TikTok. You can
Wait, I have
choose
a
to serve your
question.
family.
I have a question.
You can choose to serve your corrupt masters, or you
I have
can
a
serve
question.
the Lord and become purified. What?
Yeah, I have a question. Is God all powerful?
Yes.
Then what does he need servants for?
Well, that's how you conquer the Lord. Because the Lord doesn't need servants. But if you actually love the Lord, if you show your incredible love toward the Lord, then that's the way you actually conquer the Lord. He doesn't need you. Who's supplying the food for the elephants? Who's supplying the food for us? Who's supplying all these creatures food?
Who's supplying all of these creatures food?
These elephants are eating 500 pounds of grass and foliage a day.
Grass produces seeds. Seeds plant
Yeah,
more grass.
who programmed that seed? Who wrote that code inside that seed for that big tree to grow?
No one, probably.
No, somebody did.
What's your proof on that?
That's the nature of the universe.
Where's
Who put the
Wait, how do
orderly
you
system of
I'm sorry, can you
seasons?
just how much of the universe have you like yourself personally witnessed?
Well, it's like walking into a library. How
Wait,
much
no,
information
I asked you a
in any of these books
specific
do
question.
I know?
I asked you a very specific question. How much of the universe have you personally experienced?
How much of well, I am part universe, so I'm experiencing I'm simultaneously one and different.
Simultaneously, one and different.
Simultaneously one and different. It's like a piece of toast. It's like, that bread is now toast.
I'll just ask the question again. How much of the physical universe have you witnessed, examined, perceived? How much of it have you experienced?
Well, the mind is so swift. I mean, I could travel anywhere within an instant. All I had to do is close
anywhere.
my eyes.
Okay, if you close your eyes, you can travel anywhere.
So beyond that.
Okay, wait, ready? I'm holding up a set of fingers off camera. Close your eyes, travel here, and tell me how many fingers I'm holding up.
4.
3.
3. It doesn't.
You wanna
Well,
try
that's
again?
just that's gambling.
You can
I
try
don't
again.
do gambling.
No, it's not
I
gambling.
don't
You said you can
gamble
travel
because I
anywhere
don't
by. Wait, you
speculate.
said you could travel anywhere by closing your eyes. So travel anywhere. I'll even hold the
The
cameras
thing
up. Wait,
about
I'm holding up fingers. Twitch can see, so I can't even change how many fingers I'm holding up. How many am I holding up right now?
none.
2. So you didn't travel here.
All right.
I thought you could travel
All
anywhere
right.
by closing your eyes.
Because I didn't even travel. I don't want to travel there.
Oh, so you
Here's
can't.
the thing about God,
I'll give
Jovan.
you.
What did he
I'll
say?
give you $1,000 if you can 10 times in a row accurately close your eyes, travel here, and tell me how many fingers I'm holding up. I'll give you $1,000
I don't gamble.
right now. It's
I
not a
don't
gamble.
gamble.
Wait, if it's a sure thing, it's not a gamble. Right? If I were to say to somebody, give me $50 if I drop this and it hits the floor, that's not a gamble because I know for a fact that gravity will take it to the floor. So I'm not gambling. So this wouldn't be a gamble, or you just can't do it.
Oh, you don't understand what gambling is. It's engaging myself in nonsensical activity.
Okay, so you can't do it. Got
It's
it.
engaging myself in in rubbish. There's
Heard. You
no
can't do it.
value
Got
to
it.
this game. There's no value to that
There is
discussion.
value. There's
There's
$1,000.
no value
There's
in playing with
$1,000.
that.
I'll raise the price.
because
10,000. I'll give you $10,000 if you can do it.
That's irrelevant.
There's value. That's
The
value.
relevant
$10,000 is
thing
value.
is, well, I could say, what's more important, to have $1 million today or waking up tomorrow? What do you want, Jovan? You want $1 million today or you want to wake up tomorrow?
So wait, you're telling me if you do this, you won't wake up?
Yeah, would you rather have $1 million right
Wait,
now
so
or
if you
would you rather
do,
wake
so
up
if you
tomorrow?
do the thing I'm asking to do, you won't wake up tomorrow.
So do you understand the value of human life? Do
So
you
you'll
want
lose
$1
your
million
life.
today or
You'll
do you
lose
want to
your
wake
life.
up tomorrow?
So you'll lose your life if you do this. If you show proof that you can travel anywhere by closing your eyes, you'll lose your life if you do that.
Yeah, so I mean, you don't want to answer the question.
Well,
My
because that question isn't
actually
relevant
has
to what we're talking
substance.
about. Your question isn't relevant to what I'm talking about. I'm not telling you to risk your life. So that isn't one of the options here. I'm telling you, you can show me that you can do this thing that you claim you can do, and I will give you $10,000.
Well,
It's
I'm not
free
a
money,
very.
right? It's free
It's
money
the
if you can actually do
yogis.
it.
The ancient yogis could do that. The high mystics, the
So
high
prove it.
esoterics.
So prove it. Oh, so you're
They
not a
could do
high.
these things.
So you're
They
not a high
could do these.
esoteric.
No, everybody now. This is the age of Kali Yuga.
I thought you said you
Now
were.
we're
I thought
in
you said you
Kali
were
Yuga.
enlightened.
Everybody's corrupt.
I thought you said you were
Everybody's
enlightened.
corrupt. Everybody's low intelligence.
Oh, so you're low
Everybody's
intelligence?
simple. Yeah.
Interesting.
Everybody's rascal. Everybody's
rascal.
third class man, fourth class man. There's no first class men in this society.
There's no
It's
first
all
class
degraded men. It's all degraded women. It's all bad population.
What would a first class man be? What would be the properties of a first class man?
It would be a religious scholar, someone purified.
I thought you said you were a religious
deeply
scholar.
Involved. Yes, but now I can't. The time is gone. The only thing I can do is beg for mercy, get on my hands and knees.
Okay,
pray
so
and
you
chant,
can't.
offer my food
So
to the Lord.
you're not one of these first tier men. So you can't close your eyes and travel anywhere because you're not
that
one
was
of.
for the high mystic, high esoteric
Okay,
yogis.
so when you said you could do that earlier, you just lied.
Well, I could close my eyes now and pretend I'm traveling to the moon,
lying a sin?
and I could get some feeling of it.
Isn't lying a sin?
I gave you that
Doesn't
example
God tell us not to
show
lie?
you how swift the mind is. Like if I traveled somewhere before, I could close my eye, I can go back and travel to that place again.
Doesn't like every single God tell us lying is wrong?
It depends what kind of lie. If this lie is good, like if you ask AI today, oh, would you say some racist slur or would you let 1 billion people perish? If you don't say this racist slur, 1 billion people will perish. And you know what the woke AI will say? Oh, it's never good to say a racist slur. Let the 1 billion people perish. That's the wokeness of the left. That's the woke mind virus that you got. You got the woke mind virus. And what you do, it's the end of civilization. It leads to the outdoor. You go down to San Francisco, you walk around the streets there, you see the homelessness, you see the depravity, you see the open drug. That's the end of civilization by the woke mind virus. Jovan. And you and Mr. Jones are perpetrating this whole thing. I'm telling you, the purpose of human life is to understand who is the original father. How do I purify my life? How do I repent? How do I end rascaldom? How do I be a first-class man? How do I serve God instead of serving evil? I don't want to serve evil. I want to serve good. I want to serve humanity. I want to serve the Lord. I want to be pure in my heart, my habits. I want to honor the women. I want to honor my fellow brothers. I don't want to deceive them. I don't want to delude them. I don't want to lie to them. I don't want to adulterate anything. I just want to be a pure vessel of love and compassion. But you know, the truth doesn't involve woke. You know, I can see all the harms that your statements do. You think you're doing good, but it's like Elon Musk said the other day. He said when Disney wanted to, when they pulled the advertising from Twitter X, he said, Elon Musk said, oh, go F yourself then. I'm sure you've seen that video. He said, go F yourself. And then later on, he said, all I see these people appearing to be doing good, but they're actually doing evil. And that's the truth of it, what you and Mr. Jones are doing up here. You are appearing to do good, but we can see that the outcome of your actions are evil. That the outcomes of your action are the end of civilization. That the outcomes of your action only create further harm, further degradation of society. And TikTok seems to have a monopoly on this type of behavior. But that's just the nature of the beast, because now the good and the evil, like I said earlier, the battle between good and evil is eternal in this earthly plane. But you are immortal. Our souls are immortal. You are traveling body to body to body to body, birth after birth after birth after birth. You came from the womb of a woman. You came from the W-O-M-B, womb of a woman. So you can only expect to come from the womb of another woman just as soon as this short, mostly miserable life is over. That's the only place, by direct evidence only, you can only expect to come from the womb of another one. So all your actions in this life are preparing your body for the next life. And you can go down into the beasts, you can go down in the aquatics, you can go down in the reptiles, even the plant, all of them have the spirit soul as well. The birds, the insect, all these people. Or you can utilize your human feature. What is the difference between animals and human beings? All animals have social structure, all animals have economics, all animals have hierarchy. We can speak with them, they can let us know, we can communicate, they're conscious. But the only difference between the human and the animal is that the human can ask, why am I here? Where do I come from? And how do I get out of this cycle of birth and death? And go to church and read the Bible and read your spiritual emancipation. That's the only difference, is the religious propensity. That's it. We all have social, we all have economic. They don't have religious. So if you fail to utilize your religious propensity in this human meat bag, then you are no better than an animal, Jovan. And that is the bare truth of material nature, this nature that is pushing us around from body to body through birth and death.
Anyway, shout out Rockin' Wheelie for the pay to kick. I actually wasn't paying attention. I was reading news on Google. What was he talking about? Let's see what this is. Yellow.
Hello, can you hear me?
I can. What's your name and how old are you?
Sam, 22.
All right, Sam. What do you lose by calling trans women women?
What do I lose by calling trans women women?
Yep.
Well, my dignity and my intelligence for two.
So just confirming, you tie your dignity into how you speak to other people?
I tie my dignity whether it's based on if I say lies or facts or not.
Whether you say lies or facts. Why would it be a lie?
a trans woman being a woman, that's a lie.
How so?
Because a trans woman is a biological man.
There's no such thing as a biological man.
Yes, there is.
No, man is not a biological term. It's a social term.
Okay, biological male.
Okay. I've never said they weren't males. Said they
Okay,
were women.
so that biological male, the only reason, you know, they want to be called women is it's primarily emotional.
I don't care about that.
Okay.
What do I care why somebody wants to be called something?
Well, you're here making this live, so
Yeah, I'm saying that we should call them women because they fit into the social category of women. What do I care if that's the reason they fit into
not
that is
really.
because of an emotional reason?
I mean, they're men that look like women. They can dress like women for all
I'm
I
sorry.
care. I
I'm
don't,
sorry. How do they not fit into the social category of woman?
because the social category of a woman is an adult human and female. That's what a woman is.
Wait, so that would be a biological category. I said social, not biological.
Okay, I'm going by biology. I'm not going by.
Biologically, woman doesn't exist. It's not a
I'm not
biological
going
term.
by whatever you heard on social media.
Yeah, woman is not a biological term. It's a social term. There's no woman in biology.
Right.
So why would I use biological standards for a social term?
Say what?
Why would I use biological standards for a social term?
Because that's not what we don't go by social terms when we're talking about people. When we're talking about humans.
Yes, we do all the time. What do you mean? We use social terms literally constantly. Have you ever called someone a friend? That's a social term.
A friend?
That's a
That's
social
a pronoun.
term.
That's a pronoun.
Friend is not a pronoun.
Yes, it is. You can be someone's friend. You can be someone's
Friend
brother.
is
You
a
can be
social
someone's
term.
son.
Friend is
No.
a social term.
It's a noun. It's a pronoun.
It's a social term.
It's a pronoun.
No, it's a social term. Pronouns would be
Okay, let's
I,
say someone
he,
goes by
she,
let's
they,
say someone
her,
goes by
him.
he, him.
Uh
That's the
huh.
same thing as calling someone a friend.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
No. I'm sorry, because you've said friend is a noun and you've said friend as a pronoun. Which one is it?
Noun.
Okay, so that nouns can be social terms.
Right.
What do you think I mean when I say something's a social term?
I think it's something you're making up, basically.
Almost everything's made up. Doesn't answer my question.
Yeah, can you elaborate?
Yeah, when I say something's a social term, I mean it's a term that we.
term.
Oh, okay. You wanted to talk. Okay, sorry.
Yeah, go ahead. Now you're good. Go ahead.
Okay. When I say something's a social term, I'm saying that it's something that like has been socially constructed. These are terms that exist inside of human society that don't exist outside of human society because they're terms that talk about mostly things that have to do with like sociological things. So like friendship would be one of them. Friends,
Right.
the concept of friend only exists inside of humans, just like the concept of women and men only exist inside of humans.
Okay, but the whole calling a biological male a woman is not that's not normal to me.
I don't. What do I care if it's not normal to you? Normality doesn't dictate what is true. Normality doesn't dictate what is right. Normality doesn't
But
dictate
there
any
is
of that.
biological truth, and then there is your truth. That's the thing.
There is no biological truth to woman because it's a social term. There's no woman gene. There's no woman thing in our DNA that doesn't exist. Woman is a term we put onto people to categorize.
Not people, females.
So
In specific.
so all females are women?
Yeah.
Females cats, they're women?
Yes.
A female cat is
Are
a
you talking
woman.
about feline? Are you talking about felines?
Is a female cat a woman?
A feline.
No, I'm asking you, is a female cat a woman?
No, it's a feline.
You said all females are women.
I was talking about humans. You're talking about
Oh,
animals.
so you mean that woman has to do with a specifically human thing and doesn't exist outside of humans? So therefore it's a social construction that we humans created to categorize like what I said it was? Crazy.
Right. Okay.
Can you tell me what the definition of gender and sex are?
Sex is male and female. Gender is man and woman.
So you gave me examples of gender and sex. If I
No, I
were to
gave
ask
you
you,
the
no, if
definitions
I were
of
to
gender and
ask you what
sex.
is a car and you said Ford or Ferrari, does that tell me what a car is? No, it doesn't tell
Tells
me
you what
what
a
a
car
car
brand
is.
is.
No, it doesn't tell
Tells
me
you what
what
a
a
car
car
brand
is.
is.
No, I don't know what a car is if you just say Ford. So I'll ask you the question again. Pretend I'm an alien who who lives in a species that reproduces asexually and does no concept of gender. What are gender and what are sex? What are these two terms describing?
Sex, biological, male or female, and gender is a man or woman. That's about it.
Those do not tell me what those two terms mean.
Yes, it does.
No, it doesn't. You think if
Yeah,
you
it
go,
does.
quick question, if you go into a biology class tomorrow and the question is define sex, do you think writing down male and female is going to make it so that you pass that test?
If it's a biology test in 2023 and these fucked up times, then no, I'm probably not going to pass that test.
Wait, you're not answering the question. The question is what is sex? And you just write down male and female. That doesn't tell
Yeah.
me what the concept of sex is.
Okay, what's the concept of that?
I'm asking you because it's very clear you don't know what sex and gender are.
Obviously, I do.
I don't think you do. Because you keep
Why don't you think I
conflating
do?
gender and sex as the same thing when they have two very distinct definitions.
Yeah. What's it called? Sex is biological. It's male and female.
What does that
Gender,
mean?
male, you got a pole. Female, you got a hole.
That
That's
doesn't
what it
tell me
means.
anything. That doesn't tell me what sex is. You're giving examples and not giving a definition.
Okay, so in your best definition, tell me the differences.
So you want me to answer the question for you because you cannot answer it.
Well, I feel like losing IQ points, so yeah, go ahead and try to
Sure.
explain it.
Sex, in terms of the human species, would be speaking about the characteristics of a sexually dimorphic species. So these are species that reproduce sexually, and they're looking at the biological characteristics surrounding the two different sexes. That's what sex would be describing. So specifically, the biological characteristics of a species that reproduces sexually.
Okay,
That would be
by
sex.
characteristics, you mean
Biological characteristics would either be your genotypic sex or your phenotypic sex. Genotypic sex is the chromosomes that you have. Phenotypic sex are the physical
so X, Y, and
representation of
XX?
those chromosomes. So whether
So
it
X,
is,
Y, and XX.
those are two of the possible chromosomal pairings. There's a bunch more. But you can have XX or XY. You can have XXX. You can have YYY. Or I'm sorry, XYY. There are a bunch of different chromosomal pairings when it comes to humans.
Right.
And then phenotypic sex is the physical representation of that genotypic sex. So your genitals and your reproductive system. Now, do you see how my answer describes what sex is and doesn't just give examples of sex? Whereas you just said male and female.
Yeah, that's since I thought we were talking about, actual humans.
I am talking about humans. I at no point brought up anything that doesn't relate to humans.
Okay,
But sex can relate to any species, by the way. Any species that reproduces sexually. That's why male and female
Okay.
are not specifically human terms.
Okay, other than humans that have been, born with, a missing chromosome, the type of people I'm talking about. What other type of humans have been born with more than two?
Every human is born with more than two chromosomes.
Male is, I believe, XY, and woman is XX.
Yes, those would be your sex chromosomes, but we're all born with more than two chromosomes.
And how many do you have?
How many chromosomes does a person have?
How many do you have?
How many do I have? The normal amount.
And which is?
You get 20, isn't it 23 from mom, 23 from dad? So 46?
Yeah, how many do you have?
46.
Okay.
If this is some like backwards dig to try to like insult me, it's not working well for you.
No, you got that right. It's 46.
Yeah, I know I did.
All right, I'm gonna have someone else come up then.
Okay, because you couldn't differentiate between sex and gender. That's fine.
No, because you're going way too far into it. I'm talking about humans. You're
I
bringing
am
up
talking
animals.
about humans. What are you talking about?
You're bringing up animals.
I'm literally talking about humans. We are mammals who reproduce under a sexually dimorphic model. And he ran. Can we get some running emotes in the chat, everybody? Running emotes in the chat. Hello, how old are you?
Yo, I'm 19. How are you doing?
What year were you born?
2004.
Okay. Well, what do you lose by calling them trans women?
Well, to me personally, I grew up always with like all this trans stuff, trans women, trans male. This is like adopted by Western society. I did not grow up with this, so I do not believe that in any way.
Whoop-de-doo. I didn't grow up with IMAX movies. Should I not believe in IMAX movies?
That has nothing to do with this because IMAX movies is actual movies. Transgender people are
You know,
switching
trans
their
people have
biological
existed
sex.
throughout most of time and in places other than the West, such as ancient
Yeah, but now,
Egypt. There were trans people.
when? What time period?
Ancient Egypt, that time period.
Ancient Egypt?
Yes.
Do you have a source for that?
Yeah, I'll pull it up for you.
There was, okay, yeah, that is true. There was a story back during the time of Prophet Lut where there was a whole village full of like LGBTQ people. And nowadays, like, look at Western society. I just want to show you an example. See how normalized it is nowadays? So now like,
Yeah.
they're targeting children. They want to teach it in school and children. Children don't
And?
have the proper mindset to like know who they are. Don't you think that it's wrong to be teaching that to children?
No, actually, when we look at like how children develop gender as a concept in their brains, children develop their own internal sense of gender between the ages of 3 and 4.
Bro, when I was 3 and 4, I didn't even know it existed on this
Did you know you were a boy at 3? Because
Yeah,
I knew I was a
'cause
boy at 3.
I was a little child. I didn't even know.
Oh,
it
okay.
existed.
So you knew you
I
were a
didn't have-
boy?
You don't
So when
have
I said
proper
that children,
consciousness.
have a sense of their own gender, I was right because you knew you were a boy at 3, just like I knew I was a boy at 3.
Well, this generation is so lost.
Okay, that's not a response.
I know it's the truth.
That's not a response.
I know, but it's the truth.
No, that's you trying to not respond to the actual debate.
What was the debate? What was the point?
That children, according to many psychological research, specifically from like the American Psychiatric Association, have an internal sense of gender that starts within them from the ages of 3 and develops through, and it's usually developed by 4, and then their gender identity can be fully like doved out around age 7.
Okay. Tell me why children, of course they know what gender they are because they're either born guys or girls. So they know they're either a guy or a girl. Once you start teaching them and telling them, oh, you can change your gender, you could do this, you could be whatever you want to be, then they're going to be like, all right, bet. Let me be this, let me be this, let me be this. And just allowing it, just accepting it. You know, there was a change. There's this 16-year-old, like, that's like a teenager. Like, they know what they're doing. They switched from male to female. They regretted it after, like, by the time they were older, because they were just going through some phase, because that's teenagers, you know. They killed themselves because of it, because of how badly they regretted that decision.
Yeah,
Now
do you have a
imagine
source on
influencing
this?
that. I can find it. Yeah, hold on. Let me pull
find
my
it.
laptop. Wait, sorry. I'm just turning on my laptop right now. All right, it's right here. Hold on, sorry. I'm just going on the site. Taylor Alisana, 16-year-old living in a California home, took her life. A trans teen who took her life earlier in the month because of a hashtag trend. Her name was Taylor. From ABC News. Do you consider
She
ABC
took her
News
life
a
because
reputable?
she was trans and people bullied her for being trans, not because she regretted her decision.
Hold on. Oh, she got bullied. Where's the others?
So she was a trans girl who took her life because people bullied her in school. People like you caused her to kill herself.
Why are you assuming that I'm bullying trans people?
Your rhetoric.
Huh?
I'm making an inference based on the rhetoric that you use.
All right, well, you got that inference right, but like, I'm still trying to.
I know I got the inference right. So you tried to say, hey, look at these people that are killing themselves because they weren't actually trans, and instead you pulled up someone that killed themselves because of people like you. Great.
I pulled up.
That really proved your point.
Okay, all right, bro. I've seen this one before. I just gotta find. You're telling me you don't think at all that possibility is like there when you're influencing it on children, letting children letting them be whoever they want to be. Let's say they're born a guy, oh, they want to switch to a girl all of a sudden.
The regret rate of people who transition on the high end is 3% of people.
This is so cap.
Great. So you don't have a response to that?
My response is you're a fucking faggot.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Oh, you motherfuckers are faggots too. Y'all are.
Just admit that you can't debate. You got caught being wrong and couldn't debate. Happens all the time. When they realize that they're dumb, they lash out.
I don't.
Oh, okay. So what do chromosomes have to do with gender?
Gender is a mental construct.
Okay, that doesn't answer my question. What does chromosomes have to do with gender?
You're basically saying mind over matter is what you're proposing right now.
So you do think gender and sex is the same thing?
No, I don't. Sex
why
is
did
biological.
why did you bring up chromosomes?
Because sex is biological. They do not have the chromosomes to accumulate being a woman.
Am I talking about sex here or gender?
Gender is a mental construct.
Am I talking about sex or am I talking about gender?
Are we just going to make this the imaginary world of whoever's triggered nowadays? Is that what we're doing?
Am I triggered all of a sudden? Is asking you questions being triggered?
No, but you're defending delusion.
I'm defending delusion. So you think gender is delusion?
So somebody born as a man saying
no one's born as a man.
Being a what the?
Yeah, okay, no one's ever been born a man.
Male or female. Sorry.
Sure, people are born male and female all the time.
So if somebody is born male or female and they declare that they're the opposition, that is acceptable.
Is anyone claiming to be anyone that's male claiming to be female, or are they claiming to be women?
What do you lose by calling trans women women?
Looks like I didn't say trans female, did I?
Now you're just pivoting.
I'm pivoting? No, did this change? Did this change since I put it up here?
Is a trans woman a woman?
Yes.
Is woman a gender or a biological construct?
Gender.
Okay, so if I look up the chromosomal definition between women and men, it's going to show me what?
Chromosomes.
IQ? It's going to show me IQ level?
Woman is not a chromosome thing. That would be sex, specifically genotypic sex. If you don't know the difference between genotypic sex, phenotypic sex, and gender, I can't really help you there. But this is like biology 101.
You can't help me. They literally teach this stuff in 3rd grade.
Yes. Do you want me to read you? Do you want me to read you directly out of like a neuroscience book, like how they define these things?
Do you want me to read you out of a psychology book how it's classified as a mental illness, gender dysphoria?
It's not.
No,
It's
it
classified as
actually
a
is.
disorder. Go ahead, read me. Go ahead, read me out of a psychology
All right,
book
hold on.
where. Go ahead. I want you to read me where it claims that gender dysphoria is a mental illness. Go ahead.
All right, you ready? Hold on.
Yep. What's the book?
All right, sorry, I had to screen grab it. Can you put me up on the big screen?
What's the name of the book?
It's the Oxford Dictionary. It outdates anything you're going to bring up.
A dictionary is not a psychology book.
No, a dictionary is established for universal verbiage and understanding.
No,
so therefore
dictionaries are descriptive, not prescriptive. So this doesn't work. You said you would show me. You said you would show me out of a psychology book that gender dysphoria is a mental illness, but you can't do that.
I can show you just based off simple definition.
You told me you would pull me out of a psychology book that gender dysphoria was mental illness, so you can't do that.
No, in order for a psychology book to be accredited, they have to go by a recognized language.
No, that's not what happens. That's not
No, really, that is what happens.
No,
I went to college for creative writing, buddy. You don't get to sit there and read
Are
names
dictionaries,
something else.
quick question. Are dictionaries descriptive or prescriptive?
They're descriptive. but it's
Okay,
based
so
off
it
of
doesn't.
universal
So wait, so it
understanding of
doesn't
certain
matter if a dictionary says something, right? Because dictionaries are only descriptive. They only describe how words are commonly used. They don't describe how
cat
words
a
are
dog?
supposed to be used.
Is a cat a dog?
Depends on who's speaking.
Yeah, somebody's mentally ill and somebody's not.
Yeah, let's take a look at your Oxford Dictionary. Let's take a
There you
look.
go.
Let's take a look. I don't see mental illness.
Distress.
I don't see mental illness on that.
Unhappiness.
Doesn't say mental illness.
Unhappiness. Mental state.
Doesn't say mental
Mental
illness.
disorder.
Doesn't say mental
Mental
illness.
disorder.
Mental disorders are not mental illnesses.
No, they actually are.
No, they're not.
You want me to show you the definition of disorder in Oxford too?
Go ahead. Pull up the definition of disorder all you want. You said, you said, I'll pull it up out of a psychology book, and you couldn't do that. Just FYI, you couldn't do that.
I tried to make it something you wouldn't debunk.
Disorder is just defined as a state of confusion. Disorder is just defined as a state of confusion, so not a mental. Oh yeah, no, pull up a psychology book. I was waiting for that. That's what you said you were going to do, but then you pivoted and didn't do that.
You're just going to sit there and say that source is biased. That's
Or
why
you
it's not
couldn't
the
find it.
Oxford.
Or you couldn't find it. Let's be honest, you weren't going to find it.
I'm looking.
Go ahead and look. You couldn't find it, so you pulled up something that also doesn't call it a mental illness. It only calls it a disorder, which is a state of confusion or a disrupt in systematic functioning. So you couldn't even find that. This is embarrassing for you. Yes, we also know, guys, you don't have to be have dysphoria to be trans, and that cis people can experience gender dysphoria as well.
I wasn't saying it's indicative of one particular type. I was saying it was of that one.
I'm just waiting for the psychology book that says it's a mental illness.
Well, here I'll go. UK National Health and Science.
UK National Health and Science is a psychology book now?
It is a health organization.
Is it a psychology book?
It's frickin' mental professionals.
Is it a psychology book, like you said?
What is a book?
You said you were going to show me a psychology book. You're showing me a website.
What is a book? Okay, all right, fuck it. No book. I'm just using simple definitions. I'm using actual, doctors.
Okay.
Is that not credible?
Okay, so you've conceded that you can't find a book. Now you're saying you're going to use doctors instead. So what's the website you're on now?
It's right here.
Give me the name of the site.
Go and look. It's right there.
Give me the name of the site.
You're a fucking child. Look at your screen.
I don't know why you can't your box is small and I'm not making it big again. Just tell me what the name of the site is.
I know you're not making it a big again because I showed you to look like
I don't know
why
it's so hard for you to just tell me the name of the site.
Look at it. This is the reason why you believe
I don't know why
delusion,
it's
because you're
so.
afraid to look at
I don't know
contradictory
why it's
sources.
so hard for you to just give me the name of the site.
I don't know why it's so hard for you to roll your neck over and look.
I don't know. Is it just because you know if I look at the site, it's going to tell you that you're wrong again? Is
No,
that
it's
why you
actually
won't? Is
stating
that why you won't
otherwise.
tell me? Is that why you won't tell me the name of the site?
Is that why you won't look? That's probably why you won't look.
Why don't you just tell me the name of the website?
That's probably why you only look at medical research provided by trans people or part of the LGBTQ community and nothing else.
Here, let's do this. We'll expand you. The
There
name of
you
the site.
go.
The name of the
Thank
site
you.
still isn't here. The name of the site still isn't on here. So why don't you tell me the name of the site? Look, do you see the name of the website? I don't. So why don't you tell me the name of the website?
NHS.
Oh, NHS. NHS. So like I have up here NHS, and you're saying that NHS is claiming that gender dysphoria is a mental illness. That's crazy.
Well, look,
when you control F
look at the
on the NHS for gender dysphoria, mental illness isn't there. It's not even. They don't even have mental illness on the page. It's not even on the page.
Look on the definition, dumbass.
Where does it say mental illness?
Are those indicative of mental health?
Where does it say mental illness? That's what I'm asking you.
Where does it imply that it's a healthy mental
Where
construct?
does it say it's a mental illness? It doesn't. You made the claim. Now you've pulled up two sources that don't agree with you. Are you going to try to pull another one? You said that it's going to tell me it's a mental illness. It doesn't tell me it's a mental illness. It doesn't tell me. Go ahead, read the whole thing. Read the whole thing. Tell me where it says it.
Gender dysphoria is a term that describes a sense of unease, mental illness of a person that
Doesn't say
can't
mental
read the
illness.
rest.
Doesn't say mental illness. You're just adding in words.
Dissatisfaction may lead to
You're
depression.
adding
and
in words.
anxiety.
May lead to mental illnesses. It may lead to a mental illness like depression. It may lead to a mental illness like anxiety, but it is not. It may lead to it, but it is not it. It may lead. Read me that sentence again. I'm sorry. Read me that sentence again.
Fascist,
Read me
shut
that
up.
sentence
I'm
again.
talking.
Read me the sentence again. Go ahead. May lead to. Doesn't mean that it is indicative of. So guess what? That is three times you've been proven wrong.
So
Bye.
somebody.
3 times you've been proven wrong. See you. 3 times. 3 times you've been proven wrong. You had to specifically add words to the definition to try to prove yourself right. So you added words to it. You literally had to throw in your own words to try to prove yourself right. Because you can't prove yourself right. Your own sources proved you wrong. It's crazy, bro. To just literally lie like that is wild. I gotta reset the live real quick. Be right back. We got a violation. To just straight up lie, bro. Like, to just straight up lie is crazy.